The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, January 25th, 2021, and we know who's going to the Super Bowl. This show on SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio can now begin because of the Twine beat drop. Shout out to you, Twine. Today's a big Overreaction Monday. Listen, there are things happening in the NFL world after a championship Sunday that lived up to the hype that we need to talk about for the next 3 hours. We got people wanting out of town, allegedly. We got coaches that shouldn't be coaching. We got teams that are potentially going to be in disarray for the next 25 years, people are saying on the internet. All because of 2 games just yesterday. Now, granted, they didn't start until 3 or whatever, so the morning waiting for it was a bit much. It was a little bit of a nuisance. I was getting a bit antsy around noon, 1, 2, 2:30, 3. The games finally start. How you doing? Keep it moving. And then we get a chance to watch the old guard of the NFL take each other on. Aaron Rodgers, friend of the show, MVP of the NFL in the 2020 season, throws for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. And that team loses at home to the Tampa Bay Q Gronkaneers with a Tom Brady that throws 3 interceptions in one half. How did the Buccaneers win that game? Nobody knows. How did it happen? Well, you can go back to a couple different situations, obviously. Before half, the Green Bay Packers have an opportunity to get a little bit of a twofer in the middle late. They get a chance to score, take the lead, then double down, getting the ball in the second half. Instead, disaster strikes. Tampa Bay gets the ball back. They get 4th down. About 8 seconds left on the clock. Tom Brady sitting on the sideline with a goddamn burqa on him. He's told by somebody, hey, I think we're going to, and he goes, yep, you're goddamn right we are. Goes and puts on a Superman cape, goes out on the field. Scotty fucking Miller, who is not your classic bring your lunch pail to work guy. Oh, no. Not your classic first one in, last one out, coach's son, high motor, loves the playbook type of guy. Instead, Scotty fucking Miller is a guy that runs 20 miles an hour on an absolute dime. The ball is thrown from Tom Brady over Kevin King, who had one of the worst days in football I've ever seen. But why is he in that position? Should we blame Mike Pettin, or should we blame the player for knowing that you're probably going to have a little bit of outside contain because maybe they're going to try to pick up a couple yards to kick a field goal? Or do you just think to yourself, are the football gods currently shitting on Green Bay for Tom Brady? And you start thinking that. Then the second half starts, same story. And then it gets down to the end of the game. And the Green Bay Packers, who have had an average drive start of the 23-yard line versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers average drive start, which was the 37-yard line.
Wow.
Special teams matters, by the way. You only have to give Tom Brady 3 first downs, and he's automatically going to score whenever you're getting the ball at the 37-ish. That's something that hasn't been talked about. But then here we are, end of the game, down 8. Your MVP has the football on the 8-yard line. And although there was a couple questions on whether or not he could have scampered into the end zone, I believe that to be no. There was a massive body behind him and a corner that was staring him down and a linebacker that had eyes on him. So although we could take a still frame and say, boom, he could just levitate into the end zone. That's not how it's going to work. Maybe he'll pick up a yard or 2, so maybe it makes a different decision. But when it was 4th and goal, down 8, 2 minutes and whatever, 10 seconds left, 17, whatever it was, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, 200 minutes and 8 seconds, whatever the hell it was. And you got it 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning, so you're viewing it as 4 timeouts. I say, why don't you at least think about calling a timeout there and saying, let's, hey, this is the biggest play of our fucking season here. Yeah. Okay, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. is on the other side of the goddamn field over there. All right? That guy, for whatever reason, even if he throws 3 picks in one half, that guy wins games. That's all he does. And by the way, we've gotten a great chance to see it for the last 20 years because they were on national television in this exact type of situation, doing it right in front of our faces. Tom Brady's been doing this for a long time. Let's not think about kicking a field goal here where we will still need a touchdown on the other side of this thing and take the ball out of our MVP's hands. Now, Aaron Rodgers said he understood the thought. It wasn't his decision. A lot of people were saying, why didn't he wave them off? Imagine if that doesn't work. Imagine if he waves them off and they don't get it. It's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers refused to listen to Matt LaFleur. Everything he's done. That's a tough situation to be in whenever your head coach is telling you, no, we're going to kick the field goal. The analytics tell us this whole thing. I'm like, well, do they really? Do the analytics tell you that the guy on the other side is the goddamn GOAT and the football gods have blessed him properly? Do the analytics tell you that you got the MVP of the NFL and maybe take a timeout and say, what's our best play? We need to fucking get now and then get the 2-point conversion. By the way, you don't get the 2-point conversion. Guess what? You can still kick off, do exactly what you just thought you were going to be able to do. I mean, it is a wild situation whenever you start thinking about why that decision was made. And in the end, Tom Brady leads a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 13 years to the playoffs in his first year there with a bunch of old heads that went ring chasing down there. And now they are at home in the Super Bowl taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in a game that was relatively boring. There was no Kansas City Chiefs down 9. Who gives a fuck? This is basically exactly what we said was going to happen. The Kansas City Chiefs, whenever they want, can win the game. Whenever they want, they can win the game. A lot of people talking about, the Bills have covered 7 of their last 8 games. The Chiefs haven't covered it all. It's like they haven't covered it all, but what if they motherfucking win? And when you have a guy at tight end who seems to be unguardable, and Travis Kelce, by the way, shout out Travis Kelce. Broke a record last night. No big deal. Record's been around a long time. Travis Kelce seemed to be unguardable. And then you got a guy named Cheetah who... By the way, shout out 61 for the Buffalo Bills. That guy is not getting enough credit. Defensive lineman who was chasing Tyreek Hill. He was about 2 yards behind him, slowly 3, 4, then 10. And I think if you do the math, his speeds were probably up in the high teens. He was a big boy. He should get a little bit more talk. But then you obviously, Justin Zimmer's his name. Congrats to him. Shout out to Justin Zimmer. You guys lost, but you put on a hell of an athletic performance there in the all whites while you're sprinting after a goddamn cheetah. But then you got Patrick Mahomes, who looked like nothing was wrong at all, slinging the rock all the way around. Kind of what we told you was going to happen with a toe injury. They just go ahead and give you a little, how you doing? And then he's just off and moving. I would assume his toe hurts like a motherfucker today, but it doesn't matter because the Chiefs had their best performance yet. The Chiefs from last year that we all fell in love with, down 21, down 20. By the way, Patrick Mahomes was doing the crowd thing again like he was doing last year. Didn't see much of it during the season. Because there was no fans. COVID robbed us from that. True. But it felt like we were watching the Chiefs, and it felt like, we're watching Tom Brady. And it's a damn shame because Aaron had one of the best seasons of all time. And now the conversation revolves around, will Aaron be there next year? What is going to happen? Is Petten going to have a job by tomorrow? Should he have a job by tomorrow? He just signed an extension. Is Matt LaFleur and the boys going to continue to run roughshod over there whenever people are saying, do they need an adult in the room? Whoa. I mean, there's a lot of conversations to be had. We got 2 weeks to talk about Brady Mahomes. It is awesome. Congrats to the NFL for getting these two in the Super Bowl in Tampa. In front of 22,000 fans. Also, congrats to me and to Connor, who bet rather heavily on the futures bets that it would be Buccaneers Chiefs. Woo! Immediately upon realizing that Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers and the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. Tom Brady makes everybody better. I talked about it before he even signed with Tampa. A lot of people were saying there isn't a market for Tom Brady. That was hey, by the way, that was a fucking conversation that happened. That happened this past offseason. Yep. Tom Brady was a free agent for the first time in 20 years, and there people were saying, the market's not that big for Tom Brady. And I came on this show, wasn't on Sirius yet, I don't think, but I came to this desk and this microphone and said, there's 25 teams that want Tom Brady. Now, as we've kind of rolled out here, numerous teams did look into him. It just wasn't as public or anything like that. And a lot of the reason is because as soon as you get Tom Brady in your building, everybody gets better. The reps that maybe were cheated on the defensive side, maybe post-practice, if you have a bum-ass quarterback, it's just every single thing that everybody in that building does is amplified because they know they got a guy. Okay, so Tom Brady makes the equipment managers better. Tom Brady makes the athletic trainers better. Tom Brady makes the fourth-string defensive lineman better because that fourth-string defensive lineman knows we got a real fucking chance of winning the Super Bowl at this point. Getting Tom Brady in your building was something I thought that was much bigger than just him on the football field. It's the accountability for fucking everybody. So whenever I heard Chris Ballard, potentially heard from Tom Brady's team and said, no, thank you, and signed Phillip Rivers, I had a little bit of a moment that was like, listen, I've been in that exact building with a guy that does exactly this whenever he walks into a building, and that was Peyton Manning. I was a rookie punter who enjoyed a beer or 10 rapidly, who didn't fully understand how to do my job. And I got better watching Peyton Manning. It was just, if you can get a great into your building, it oozes into everybody else in every other department. That has obviously happened in Tampa. A lot of people saying the defense won that game for them. Well, it just so happens to be coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. And at some point, the biggest mathematist has to say, what's the fucking X factor? You drop Tom Brady in a building, they win. Does it make sense? Not at all. But all he's going to do is just keep on winning. Now the question is, will Patrick Mahomes ever catch Tom Brady in Super Bowl appearances? It's going to be tough to argue. It looks like Patrick Mahomes might go to as many Super Bowls as he wants to play. That Kansas City team is unbelievable. A lot of teams are potentially going to look different. We got a lot to talk about. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. We want to talk to you here. We got to get started now. There's a guy in this particular studio who has been a diehard Packer fan, cheesehead for a long time. Mm-hmm. He's an owner of the goddamn team.
That's right.
Didn't get a chance to go to the game this weekend because of circumstances. By the way, I think we all looked at it and said, probably not the right move in the particular setup that it was, but watch the entire game. Mm-hmm. Ty Schmidt, you become a pretty good voice for most Packers fans. Sitting here today, after all the alleged Aaron Rodgers might demand out of Green Bay, which I partook in this morning on ESPN.
Yeah, sure.
But I would
had to.
His press conference afterwards where he said there's a lot of uncertainty in the future, including mine and everything. If you listen to the whole thing, not a single part of that made it sound like he was going to retire or was he going to walk in there and be pissed off? Because remember, just 1 week ago, he told us like everything is actually on positivity, the complete opposite.
Right.
But just to entertain the idea. I mean, I'm getting Indianapolis in there as much as possible. You know what I mean? So I had to do it. I don't think Packers fans believe that Aaron's not going to be a Packer next year, right? And how do you feel about the entire game and situation?
Yeah, no, I think Aaron will definitely be back next year. I don't think anyone thinks he's actually going to, demand a trade or anything like that. I think that's kind of crazy. I mean, the game just ended. He has reason to be pissed. Ultimately, it's almost like a shame on me because we were talking about everything all week, and it really did seem like the Packers were like the best team in the NFL right now. The way they were dancing, the way they're playing, Rodgers winning an MVP, like this team did feel different. And you hate to harp on it and go back to it, but ultimately this was the same team that made it to the NFC Championship last year. They really didn't do that big thing that they could have to get over the hump and get back to the Super Bowl. I said last year they needed to fire Mike Pettin. They didn't. They bring him back. The defense was playing better. Jair Alexander was great yesterday. He had 2 picks, but Mike Pettin's a fucking buffoon. Like, they need to get rid of him. I mean, you pay all those guys on defense, the Smith brothers and Kenny Clark, you pay them all this money. They pressured Brady 5 times yesterday. They just
versus Aaron's 22 pressures.
Exactly. Right? And obviously the Packers, not having Bakhtiari killed them. Their tackles got abused all day. But it just I'm still almost in like a state of shock because, like you said, you look at like the box score, you look at everything. It's like, okay, they picked off Brady 3 times. You can't
in one half.
In one half, you can't score 6 points off those turnovers. We always talk about the middle 8, same deal. I mean, that's the most inexcusable thing ever. Kevin King giving up that bomb to Scotty Miller, and then the Packers' opening drive of the second half, Aaron Jones fumbles.
Oh yeah.
And boom, it's 28-10. It's basically over already. So, I mean, you can go back to them not having the ball in Rodgers' hands on 4th down, kicking the field goal instead. It's just, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Packers fans are going to look back at this season and it's like
wasted opportunity
for sure. This one hurts. This one hurts way more than, I mean, shit. The last NFC Championship they were in, they got blown out by the Falcons. You never really thought like they were going to win that game. Seattle, they were winning the whole game. They, same deal. They pick off Russell Wilson 3 times. They don't get the onside kick going to overtime. The Seahawks score on the first possession right away. I really did think if they got to the Super Bowl, there was maybe a chance that they could beat the Chiefs or the Bills or whoever just because of the way they were playing, the way Aaron's playing. But, I mean, this one's going to hurt for a while. And like we said, like Rodgers is – I don't think he's going anywhere, but I also wouldn't blame him for being like, you know what, fuck this. I deserve to go somewhere like Tampa where they showed this year, like, hey, we're going to sell out for Brady. Like, we know he's not around too much longer. We know we got something good right now. This guy's one of the greatest ever. Let's sell out and let's try to win a Super Bowl this year. I think he does deserve that, and I just don't think the Packers are ever going to do that.
I don't think they ever will either. And Ty, by the way, T's and P's and P's and T's from all of us.
That's right.
Thank you.
Stay strong, Ty. Stay strong.
Thank you.
I mean, Diggs' team died in the middle of the season. Yeah. Connor's team's dead forever.
Forever. Yeah. It's a long time.
You in this room, the Bears, obviously.
They beat the Bucks, though, so just saying. We're actually a Super Bowl team.
All right, at Viva Lazito, obviously big Bears fan. All right. Your team, though, became our team a little bit in here.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Aaron coming on there. It was a lot of fun to watch. But immediately on draft night, and then in the offseason, they get Funches, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe,
Who knows?
Maybe.
Would have been the difference.
Funches, maybe. You never know, Funches. Everybody says he gets loose on the 8-yard line.
Yeah.
Look out.
You know what I mean?
Red zone target.
Pretty big player there. Mm-hmm. I mean, not a single move was made to make the team better, to take the next step. Now, granted, they did bring in old buddy.
Tramon Williams, they re-signed him. They got
Kirksey.
Tavon Austin. Kirksey, they signed him in the offseason.
By the way, he came in and made a big hit.
He had his best game of the year yesterday.
But they never made that big step. Kansas City Chiefs. Look, the two teams that are in the Super Bowl, obviously you just alluded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers realizing they got fucking Tom Brady. And instead of drafting, or trading up in the first round to get a quarterback, because you think he's potentially on his downfall, even though he's, 5 years older than Aaron at this point or whatever. Didn't do that. Instead, they did the complete opposite. And they're like, we're going to go get some guys out of retirement. We're going to fucking trade for that. We're going to get this guy. We're going to do this. We're going to retool this entire thing, and we're going to go for it. Chiefs, we're going to spend $500 million on the quarterback. We're going to bring back Travis Kelce. Congrats to Travis Kelce making over $100 million. We're going to sign a couple. By the way, them losing Fisher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Achilles is tough. That is very, very, that's a bummer for him. Hell of a player. That might be tough, especially with the way Pierre-Paul has been playing. But hey, Andy Reid, we're going to lock in. We're going to lock in our team. We are going to invest in our team and we're going to go. The Packers just felt like they were in a transition phase after making the NFC Championship, almost thinking like they couldn't do it again. And then in the middle of the season, they realized, oh shit, we got a guy quarterback that can do this again. And if Aaron comes out and says, I want to move on, and once again, listening to that whole thing, I didn't get a feeling that he said that because he wanted to leave. But if we're going to have the conversation, let's have the conversation.
Yeah.
If he was to come out and say, I'd like to move on, the people that don't like Aaron for whatever reason will get really loud. And then I think a lot of people, though, especially after this year and everything, and after watching what happened, will go like, fucking go on.
Yeah.
Just like Matthew Stafford, right? Matthew Stafford, much smaller level, obviously, because Aaron Rodgers is at the conversation of greatest of all time, and Matthew Stafford is not. And many would say it's potentially because of where he's been. If he's been on a good team, there'd be a different conversation there. But Matthew Stafford was always just chill, cool. I understand that my career is being wasted here or whatever. not saying it's the exact same as Detroit. Obviously, it is different, potentially because it is Aaron, but it is. It's a different organization. Okay, the Lions are a much different organization than the Packers. I was going to potentially, but the Packers do not deserve that. Okay, especially on this day. Neither do their fans.
No, they don't.
Motor City Dan Campbell is going to turn that all around. Potentially bring in Deuce Staley from Philadelphia. But Matthew Stafford's at the point where they mutually agreed to part ways or whatever, and everybody's like, "Good for you, man." You know what I mean? So I do believe that Deshaun Watson. I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, good for you, man. Go do what you got to do. If Aaron was to do it, I think every football person would be like, yeah, he's being held hostage basically in Green Bay right now. Let them do what they got to do. And there's some intriguing landing spots.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Indianapolis, everybody's saying that's the number one spot.
Yeah.
If Aaron was to be traded, Indianapolis is where he should be thinking about going. You know what I mean? Teams built around him.
Yep.
All right. Team was already good this year. Phillip Rivers, great quarterback. Hey, Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
Many people were saying. But imagine Aaron in this particular place with that defense, that offensive line. By the way, Frank Reich will go for it on fourth down. He will let you do whatever. Okay. He will go for it whenever, however he has to. It's just very interesting. Also, 49ers people are saying.
Whoa.
If he was to go back home, by the way, you know he has a deep, deep love for that area of the country. He was even talking about it after he donated $500,000 to the Barstool Fund. Whenever we talked about it on the show, he was talking about how, back in Butte County, a lot has happened. Look for something to happen there. He still has deep ties there. That was his childhood team. I mean, they're putting pictures up on ESPN and NFL Network of him wearing 49ers uniform with a helmet and jersey on him. I mean, that would be a storybook type situation. Was almost going to happen with Tom Brady, also from the same area a year ago. It is alleged that they did look into Tom Brady, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out. If Aaron's on the table and Shanahan can get him in there in that offense, Debo, Kittle, boys, I mean, how you doing? Keep it moving. Niners will be pumped about that. Then people are saying L.A., because he's got that house in Malibu. That was actually referred to this morning. He has that house in Malibu in L.A. The L.A. Rams could be done with Goff. Maybe there's a move there. There's the Steelers. People were saying the Steelers. I saw Diggs pitching the Steelers.
Why not?
Why not? I think this is exactly like the Tom Brady situation where everybody just looks at their quarterback and goes, if Aaron fucking Rodgers is out there, are we not trying? Now, granted, it's going to take 3-4 number one overall picks. I mean, that's just how it's going to go. Probably a player in exchange, if I had to guess. That's the type of dude Aaron is, and some people might be surprised about that or whatever, and that means they probably just don't ever watch Aaron or know how people truly feel about him as a player. That's probably 3-4 number one overalls. Stafford, I'd assume, is the number one or two number ones to get out of there. I mean, if people really want to make a move to get a guy, and you need a plug in place, like, for instance, the Colts need – we just did it with Phil.
Yep.
It worked. Success. Didn't get to where we wanted to, but it was good. Let's just go ahead and try it again. Drop you in there. I mean, the Niners traded for Jimmy G. They made a play for Jimmy G to get him in there. Why not Aaron or Matty? That's a question that a lot of people are going to ask, I assume, this offseason until it all gets settled. At Tone Diggs, you want them both. I saw you doing your terrible Photoshop for both of them.
Well, I love Ben, and I really do, but his OC is gone. His best friend, Pouncey, retired. One of his other best friends, Vance McDonald, retired. He's not going to want to learn a new offense. So, I mean, if Ben, I love you. 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 Super Bowl wins. I love him. I love him forever. But
hey, think about that real quick, though, before you get going. He made 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them. That's a hell of a career.
Especially in the Tom Brady era.
Yeah.
Tom's going to his 10th, could win his 7th.
Insane.
But
sorry.
But if you can get Aaron in, and obviously the Steelers cap's a mess, and it's nothing that they ever do. But I'm going to toot that horn until it doesn't happen. Yeah,
a lot of people are saying that's not something they would do, including Green Bay. By the way, this is not something that Green Bay would do either. I don't think anything in the history of the Green Bay Packers says that they would do this, right?
No, yeah, definitely.
I mean,
not.
you guys forced Curly Lambeau out way back, if I do recall.
Well, yeah,
you guys forced him out.
Picked them up.
Favre too.
No, because it's not the same with Favre. Because Favre was waffling, saying, "Well, shit, I'm not retired. I don't know.
Well, Aaron
I'm
said
not
that
really feeling it
yesterday,
anymore."
Hey, joining us, by the way, joining us now is somebody who might have some inside information that we do not. I'm once again going to preface this by saying, as a show, we listened to that, and we did not hear 1 ounce of Aaron saying, I'm going to retire or I want out of town. But it is incredible conversation because if you do take him for what he said, a lot of future uncertainty, including mine, Aaron said. To talk about that and more, insider at ESPN, ladies and gentlemen, Field.
Hello.
Field, what's going on, pal?
Not too much. Good to be with you on this day after Championship Sunday.
Overreaction Monday. Thanks for watching the show, Field. I know you're busy. Let's talk about it, though. Whenever that press conference happens with Aaron Rodgers, you, Mort, Shefty, you guys are all hitting the phones to see what the hell just happened. Does Aaron want out? And what are you hearing? What are your thoughts on this? It's been great conversation. This morning, Shefty and I actually yelled at Dan Orlovsky on television together because of it. What are you hearing? What are your actual thoughts and expectations on this situation?
Yeah, so you have to kind of balance 2 dynamics with Aaron Rodgers' press conference yesterday. The first one is that, as they say in the NFL, it's a crash landing when your season ends, except for when you win the Super Bowl. And the Packers felt like they were bound to be playing in this Super Bowl based off of the season they put together prior to yesterday. So obviously Aaron's going to be emotional because of the letdown of the loss. On the other hand, as you know, because you interview him every Tuesday, Aaron is so thoughtful with what he says. He's obviously a very intuitive guy, a guy who knows the breadth and sort of the scope of what he says and how it's going to be taken. And while he definitely did not demand a trade yesterday, he definitely did not forecast that he has certainly done in Green Bay, I think there could have been ways that Aaron could have spoken words that would have made us feel as though he's definitely coming back. He's looking forward to it. I think that the fact that the door was opened a little bit is enough that those of us on the outside now have potentially months worth of speculation and fodder to sift through.
I'm not 100% certain whether or not Aaron Rodgers Tuesday is happening tomorrow.
I was going to ask that.
I agree, but I'm not doing any. That's not going to be my decision, I don't think. I will let other people handle that. But I think it's trend. And actually, I don't know. I shouldn't even give an entire trending towards. But I have no idea. I have not. But we'll see. We'll see how that whole thing goes. But I assume if that happens, I'll ask him, and I'll be intrigued to see how that whole conversation goes, because now you immediately have to think to yourself, whenever that 4th and goal on the 8 happened, he also thought to himself, if I was, Tom Brady, what would happen here? If I was Peyton Manning, what would happen here? If I was Drew fucking Brees, what would happen here? If I was any of these other quarterbacks that their franchises, by the way, want all in on them. Tom Brady, they went all in. Drew Brees, they did the same thing. Now Peyton, he went over to Denver and he just threw all the touchdowns and everything like that. But if you're Aaron, at what point do you go like, what's the deal here? You know, like, why is everything seem to be happening in a different fashion than it has happened to me with everybody else in the same sphere that I'm in? It's very intriguing. It is a very intriguing situation, Field. If you had a gut, okay, and not that you do, you're in incredible shape, but a gut feeling, would it be that you just assume that this is all just kind of blown out of proportion? He'll be back as a Packer next year? Because I think that's how a lot of Packers fans feel.
Yeah, my gut would be that Aaron returns to Green Bay for at least one more season for a few reasons. First of all, when the Packers drafted Jordan Love, it's not like they announced their succession plan as a result of it. But that was, of course, the first moment that we started talking about life beyond Aaron Rodgers. If you look at the numbers, you look at the financial implications of trading Aaron Rodgers this offseason, it's very not palatable for the Packers. It would compromise an already tight cap situation in a major way. And if you're trading away Aaron Rodgers, it's not like you're trading him away to receive players that aren't going to count much against the cap. You're either trading him for probably multiple first-round picks or a first-round pick plus a dynamic player or several dynamic players. He's the MVP, at least for this year, after all. So my gut remains that Aaron Rodgers returns to the Green Bay Packers, but the NFL offseason is still 2 weeks away, technically, and it feels like we're going to have the craziest quarterback cycle maybe that we can remember over the past 10, 15 years. There are so many quarterbacks where there are question marks surrounding them, and then there are others, like Matthew Stafford, who we already know aren't going to return to their incumbent teams. Rodgers, of course, moving would be, I would think, the most significant domino if it ever came to pass. My gut remains, though, he stays with the Packers.
Okay, I believe the same thing, but boy, it's an interesting conversation. Let's move on to the team that beat Green Bay yesterday. Tom Brady throws 3 picks in one half. Okay? The other quarterback throws for 346 yards in a touch or 3 touchdowns or whatever. How does it happen? Tom just goes in there and just wins. What is it? Because he makes everybody better in the building? Is it because he's incredibly competitive, like most people in the NFL, by the way, but he takes it to a whole nother level? We all understand that. He's 40-some years of age, and he still buys in every single day to play football. So obviously his competition level is very high. What is it you think about Tom Brady whenever we all kind of look back on this Tom Brady era that is going to be discussed most, you think, Field?
Yeah, you know what happens often, I think, is that people don't want to accept, and they won't accept. So I think Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. That's like the coldest take going, right? It's obvious that he is the most accomplished quarterback to ever play the game. 10 Super Bowls is silly. So we can call him the GOAT and refuse to ever debate that. But we can also acknowledge that football is still a team sport and there are still other components that contribute to winning. So in the case of Brady, the defense that he's playing with right now in Tampa is obviously no joke. I mean, it may not have the same number of individual accolades as other defensive units around the NFL, but you've got really 3 good pass rushers up front, 2 great linebackers. You've got a secondary that may not be full of household names. Heck, their 2 top safeties got hurt or were not active for the game yesterday, and yet they still did a great job of at least holding their ground enough against Aaron Rodgers. You mentioned the big numbers, and those are legit. But still, in gotta-have-it situations, the Bucs secondary did an awesome job yesterday. So Jason Light, their GM, if they win the Super Bowl, we'll remember the maneuver to acquire Tom Brady, a 2-year deal worth $50 million. But this has been a long time coming. If you go back and look, and I haven't looked at every single team's draft history over the past 4 years closely enough, but I do believe that Jason Light's draft track record over the past 4 years is right there near the top of the NFL. You just go draft by draft, there's 1, 2, 3 major impact players in each of those drafts. He's done an awesome job building this roster. So certainly Tom Brady is the piston, the engine of it all, but that roster is legit. There's a reason why Tom was attracted to signing with Tampa this offseason, beyond the money, beyond the location, things like that.
Roster control and shit, sometimes I just let him coach. Anyways, let's move to the other game. Patrick Mahomes, he rushed for under 14 and a half yards.
Don't want to talk about it.
Bro, I had a rather large parlay. I had a rather large parlay that would have hit if it wasn't for that. But the toe, obviously the concussion protocol was the conversation all week because old buddy got hit in his artery and it kind of knocked him out or whatever. But the toe became conversation on Sunday, late on Sunday, I believe it became the thing. How did they handle that? Was it just an injection? And do they think that thing will be completely healed by Super Bowl time, or will it be something they'll have to manage over the next couple weeks?
I don't know anything about an injection or treatment.
It happened, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Well, I don't know, actually. I don't know. I just made that
Okay,
up.
yeah, well,
I would
do
assume.
that with some level of frequency, so it wouldn't be the greatest surprise. But as you know, on the NFL injury report, you don't have to list a player on the injury report with a specific body part unless that is limiting that player from being at 100%. And Patrick Mahomes is off the injury report when the Chiefs submitted their final one on Friday. So at least in their mind, from a functionality standpoint, he was basically full go. It's hard to, while the 14 and a half yards will stick in the craw for a while, it's hard to look at how Patrick Mahomes played yesterday and say, like, yeah, this guy looked like a decidedly hampered player, right? Yeah. He looked kind of like what Patrick Mahomes almost always does look like in the postseason, which is basically lights out. So I think Patrick Mahomes and his toe will be a storyline over the next 2 weeks because there's only 2 teams involved and we cover every single angle. But I don't know that it'll be top of mind for me by the time that we reach Tampa in 13 days.
Yeah, me neither. They look unbelievable. They look better than they have all goddamn season. I mean, it was
the best. The best.
It was It was the team that we all thought they were going to be the entire season. They were able to win games because that's all they do is win games. But then, just like you said, how Patrick Mahomes performs in the playoffs, it's like as soon as it becomes something of importance, whether it's a play, a drive, or the whole damn game, it's just like they show up. That's just how it is. Now, granted, they were down 9-0 and same problems, but not a single person in there thought it was over. No, that thing gets to 14. Nobody thinks it's over. The Buffalo Bills, I'm intrigued to see how they take that next step. That is a good roster, good team. Will they always have to run into Patrick Mahomes, and let alone if Aaron comes down to Indianapolis Colts? I mean,
I was going to say, yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's the. I was thinking about this offseason, which was the best job available of the 7 head coaching gigs. And I thought there's a pretty good case for the Chargers being the best one available. But there's one glaring issue with the Chargers job. You play in the same division as the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So for Buffalo, that's the same deal, is that their hump they're going to have to get over is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Because you're right, it's a really good roster. They've got a lot of key pieces already locked up long term. I'm sure Josh Allen's going to have a big old bag of money at some point here soon. He's now extension eligible. But for Buffalo, there are 2 dynamics I think you have to keep in mind. going forward. One is just until you beat the Chiefs, it's going to be something we talk about, and that's just the way that the world works. It happens in other sports. We've seen it in other leagues. We've seen it within the NFL. Until you beat the person who represents the best, we're going to talk about it. And the second thing is just that the Bills went from the hunters, they'll now be the hunted going forward, right? They're not the Chiefs in terms of the bullseye on their back, but they're no longer like a feel-good story, a team on the rise. They're a team that's there, and now they got to hold on to those expectations. Miami's going to be good again next year based off of how they played this season and their ability. And, all right, so you have some competitive. And then the Patriots, who knows, right? I mean, I understand this was a down year, but in a down year, they go 7-9, and they got a huge pile of cap space to potentially be very aggressive in a year when, as we've already talked about, there could be a lot of interesting quarterbacks available.
Yeah, I know. We got obviously Boston Connor over there whose eyes just lit up whenever you talked about the cap space. And then I believe what you said was Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Oh, yeah.
You think you guys are going to have to build up a lot of other parts of that roster that haven't been proven that they could build up, by the way, over the years. That's why Tom got the hell out of town.
Yeah.
Very interesting the way this whole thing's going to shape up. The reason why I gave it to the Dolphins is because do they even have a fourth quarter quarterback?
Whoa.
Do they even have one? I mean, what are they going to do? Who knows?
Yeah.
Ty, what do you got?
Field, I know the dust really hasn't settled yet, but have you heard anything about when the Packers plan to take Mike Pettin out behind the woodshed and end him? He stinks. When are they going to fire him?
That was a tough one to watch yesterday. I think, especially early, by the way, right? Especially early, it was the Bucs started the game with, I think it was 5 straight third down conversions, and it wasn't like 3rd and 1. It was like 3rd and 10,
3rd and
3rd and
14,
9, right? Like they just kept doing it and doing it.
That one's tough.
If I'm not mistaken, and I wish I double checked this. I think there was a time last offseason when the Packers confirmed that Mike Pettin was returning, right, as the defensive coordinator. Which, when you have to confirm that someone is returning, then it usually is an indication that that person's job was at least discussed, right? So we'll see what happens with Mike Pettin. He was there before Matt LaFleur got there. So as we know, anytime you're inherited as opposed to brought along or hired by the head coach or GM in charge, it's a different dynamic. I don't know if Matt LaFleur has like an obvious next man up succession plan if Mike Pettin were to not return. But I also know that people are going to be asking that question about Mike Pettin going forward.
I think you get A.J. Hawk in there calling plays.
Why not?
Hey, what are you going to do? Nothing. Not going to beat them. Connor, what do you got?
Yeah, Vanderfield, back to Stafford. It was reported this weekend that the Niners and the Patriots are the two teams interested. Are there more teams coming to the table now? And then also, what's his asking price?
Yeah, so Stafford, I think, will have a long list of teams. And a couple of things to figure out with Matthew Stafford is part of the deal going to include an extension for Stafford? As of right now, for the inheriting or the acquiring team, it's basically a 2-year, $43 million commitment, which is $21.5 million per year.
Dropping a bucket.
That's like, I want to say that would put Stafford in like the bottom 12 in terms of quarterback pay amongst veterans, right? $21.5 million is a ton of money for any position except for quarterback. But if there's an extension involved, then the price it's not quite as cap friendly, which might potentially either drive his value up because you have him for longer than 2 years guaranteed, or it could perhaps suppress the value that Detroit is able to recoup in a trade because you're not getting a quote unquote discount for the next couple of years. So I think Indianapolis to me feels like the most seamless fit. They obviously need a veteran quarterback. They have just Jacob Eason on the roster.
Go, dude.
They have a lot of guys who are going to need to get paid soon, if not this offseason. Darius Leonard, Quentin Nelson amongst them. But the cap is really well managed. Chris Ballard's always been sharp with that. They have 0 traded draft picks going forward. They have every single draft pick to their name going forward. And, coaches or GMs are going to be a little bit reticent to make a big move that might involve a first-round pick if they haven't done it before, because first-round picks are coveted, as we know, as the greatest currency in football in some ways, other than for a top quarterback. Chris Ballard just made a trade for a first-round pick this past year.
Pretty good.
And it was the best thing they did, along with signing Phillip Rivers last offseason. I mean, DeForest Buckner was worth every snap, every penny that he earned this past offseason. So I'm sure that's part of the mindset for Chris Ballard is that if I know I can get a guy that can raise the ceiling of this team, yeah, first-round picks are nice, but you know what's better? Take in an 11-win team and improving it to 12 or 13 and winning playoff games.
Yeah, I agree. Just send a first rounder and a couple Metallica CDs and some pre-workout up there at MCDC.
That's
all we need.
Just
A
fucking
couple extra kneecaps, right?
eat that up. No, they don't want kneecaps up there. No. Hey, what is the reaction around the league to MCDC, dude?
Yeah. Well, I think there were some people that thought, like, I'm ready to run through a brick wall for this guy, right?
Some
it was
people,
definitely one of those where there was no gray area, like, there was no middle ground on your reaction. It was either you're all in and you're ready to, buy a Lions jersey, a Dan Campbell retro Lions jersey, or you're sitting there and you're like, what is going on right now? Like, I've never seen anything like this. I watched it live, and it was like a 21-minute opening statement.
So did we.
Some of these weren't even like. Some of the head coaching press conferences we've seen so far have been like 30 minutes total. Campbell went for 21 minutes by himself.
Hold on. Field,
I love the emotion.
the best part of that is they're an hour into that thing, and the Lions PR person comes in and goes, okay, we got time for 5 more questions. That ain't never going to end. Hey, Field, who's going to get the head coaching gig down there in Houston? I heard Jim Caldwell's name's kind of moving up. I believe that's a guy that makes everywhere immediately better. But from what Mort reported, it doesn't matter who gets the head coaching gig, huh? Deshaun still wants out of there. What if it's Bieniemy? Is that the same situation?
Yeah, I think a couple of names to keep an eye on. They were discussed yesterday by Shefty, and I've heard similarly is Leslie Frazier, Bills defensive coordinator, previously been a head coach as well. Eric Bieniemy, Chiefs offensive coordinator. Everybody knows who he is. Obviously, we know if he doesn't get a job, there's going to be a lot of conversations again this offseason about what the heck is wrong with the process in finding these head coaches. But you're going to need somebody that is going to have the ability to clean up a huge mess right now, which is what it is.
God bless.
And by the way, as you noted, you could have to go to Houston and not even clean up a mess yet. It's going to be like get through the mess, because if you have to trade Deshaun Watson because he doesn't want to be there, that's a mess. And then once you do trade him, it's another mess, right? You're going to have to answer to a locker room of guys who is probably sitting there thinking to themselves, how on earth could we ever entertain Deshaun Watson being traded or even let it get to that point? That's going to be something that Texans players are going to be very frustrated by. I mean, I know J.J. Watt, as we saw in the mic'd up moment, said they wasted a year of Deshaun's career. So it's fascinating how there are only 32 of these jobs and head coach and GM respectively. And on paper, you would think like that means there's inherent allure to them. But this Texans job, man, this is not all these jobs are created equally. And this is a good example of one where it may not necessarily be as enticing as others around the league.
Field, we appreciate you joining us. We blew right through a break or 4, so we got to get out of here. But we appreciate your insight and your conversation. You can check out more with Field Yates, as he is the co-host of the Fantasy Focus Football Podcast.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's a good
show.
one.
Good show.
Love it.
I love it.
And also an NFL insider you can see on ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, Field Yates. Thank you, Vanderfield. Appreciate you. You think he hates when you call him Vanderfield or loves it?
That's his name. He introduced himself as Vanderfield when we met him.
He did.
Stafford ain't going to New England, by the way. Patricia's there, and he ain't going anywhere. Patricia is.
Well, but if anyone's
right.
going to work Sheila Ford, it is Big Matty Patricia.
Let's get to a break. This is Pat McAfee Show, Overreaction Monday, January 25th. Zito, quick update on your poll. We didn't even present it yet. That's on me.
Yeah, where will Aaron Rodgers start week 1 of the 2021 NFL season? Last place right now, 49ers 13%. Then we got other 16.1, Colts 17.6, and he's staying at home for Packers 53.2%.
You can go vote at Viva Lazito's Twitter account. Over 5,800 votes casted. 53% say Packers. Field Yates says Packers. We think it's Packers, but the fodder continues on the other side. Some phone calls and overreaction before we have our heart out in like 10 minutes. This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM.
Couple people, one college kid, took a shot at my swag.
We noticed.
We know. We don't
I
like
don't
that
think
kid.
a lot of people understand what swag is. Some of this younger generation thinks, swag is just like, the clothes I wear, whatever. No. Swag is a mentality.
Yeah.
Swag is a mindset. I try to tell this to some of the guys in the locker room this week. I said swagger, which is what swag comes from. Swagger is a mindset. Swagger isn't that you have a Supreme backpack on. Or that you have your shoes, unlaced walking around with, you got your new Louis fanny pack that you make sure it's not worn at your waist, it's worn over your shoulder. That's not swag. That's not swagger. That's fashion choices. True swag is owning your inner essence. It's a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And my essence on the field is that I feel like I'm a throwback player and I'm a tough guy. What I've played through, how I wear my stuff, I'm kind of a no-nonsense, straightforward. To me, that's what swag is all about.
You're damn
all
right.
this fake swag out there. I got my special towel. I got this. I got that. I got this writing out there. A lot of you guys are just posers.
All right. What's the most beer you did in one night you think of one of those shows?
Well, I never forget when we went to Japan one time. Dudley, Stacy Keebler. I mean, there were so many people out there. I think we went through 103 or 108. Now, between just for myself, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And, here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on. You don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain 20,000 people in an arena. If I just go out there and sip it real properly, how fucking exciting is that? So when you're out there on an empty belly and you're shotgunning beers and all that shit's going in, the half that was going in was for me. The half that was going on was for them.
Nice.
But I'm telling you, Pat, when you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
I would assume you were pretty fucked up, yeah. When did you start self-cheersing? When did you start self-cheersing? Was that something you did in college? You're like, hey, Steve, good for me, man. Like, when did that start?
No, you know what? I got to give credit to Sandman for starting that, but he was bashing him off his head, and I don't remember, and it wasn't because Sandman was doing it, so I don't want to say I copied him, but he was the first. So, and then my style was, because people always get us confused. They'll say, yeah, man, you used to bang them on your head. No, motherfucker, I was the guy that clacked them together. It was just something we came up with. I don't know how the beers got introduced to the ring, but it became a thing, and we ran with it.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Valentine's Day is upon us, fellas. Make sure you're ready for wherever the night may take you. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in men's below-the-waist grooming, are here to tell you that you need to use the best tools for the job so you can be ready for anything on that special day of love.
Ooh, like that.
2 million men are already trusting Manscaped. Wow, good for them, by the way.
Hell yeah.
2 million.
Jeez.
We've been reading Manscaped ads for a long time. Congrats to them. I remember Lawnmower 1.0.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And now here they are with the Lawnmower 3.0. Whenever I saw Lawnmower 1.0, I knew they had completely changed the way manscaping happens because they had a nick-free technology.
That's right.
Then they took it up a notch to Lawnmower 2.0, and I was like, it's probably like one of those iPhone upgrades.
Sure.
Bunch of bullshit. No, it got legitimately better.
Even better technology.
And then somehow with the 3.0, you might as well have a laser down there that's just it's the quickest, most precise manscaping operation you'll ever have in your entire life. There's a reason that 2 million men,
It's a lot of men.
they've made so much money.
A lot of balls.
So much money. It's waterproof, obviously. It comes with an incredible thing that you can rest it on and make your counter and sink look awesome. I mean, the nick-free technology is unbelievable. You can do whatever. And by the way, first time I did it, I started manscaping, drew an arrow, said, hey, how you doing? This is where you need to look.
Good design.
And then I went ahead and shaved the rest of my legs and my feet just because it was so easy, so smooth, so quick. Shout out to Manscaped. And right now you can get 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com/Pat. That's manscaped.com/PAT. Get 20% off and free shipping. Let's have a Valentine's Day that is memorable with your manscaping operation looking legendary.
Hell yeah.
Manscaped.com/Pat, 20% off, free shipping. Your balls will thank you. Welcome back to the show here. Got a few minutes left in hour one because we powered through early because the build on the YouTube was so damn beautiful. It was fun to watch. Got up to like 46,000 or 47,000 people watching.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking
Field
about.
Yates came on. It has since gone down.
Jeez.
Field, not your fault. I do believe it was just you were a victim of circumstance with the time that you came on. But boy, it was a good run here on Overreaction Monday. Everybody's talking about a couple things. Tom Brady, how's he so damn good? 10th Super Bowl, unbelievable. Patrick Mahomes, unbelievable play last night with a broken toe. That Chiefs team is exactly who we thought they were. Uncompete with the Bull last night against the Buffalo Bills. And is Aaron Rodgers going to be a Green Bay Packer? Let's get to Curtis in Miami. What's going on, Curtis?
Hey, Pat, happy Overreaction Monday. I got a question for you. I know you led off the show with the Colts not picking up Tom Brady, but do you think that Chris Ballard tried to get Tom Brady, but Jem Irsay said no, trying to preserve Peyton Manning's legacy?
You can bring in Phil Rivers, but not. Let's go to Caruso in New York. What's going on, Caruso?
Hey, Pat and the boys. Somber Overreaction Monday.
What's
Want to
going
give
on?
a big shout out to Ty, though. I'm a Yankees and a Green Bay Packers fan. I think we're probably nearly the same age, so I'll give him a major shout out because he's always speaking the truth for the Packers fans.
You guys have been through a lot together.
Yeah, we have.
You guys have been through a lot together.
Fucking
Brothers
tough,
separate,
buddy. I
but
feel
together.
for. I literally yesterday when we lost, every 5 minutes I just thought to myself, God damn it!
Nice. Let's go to Alex in Orlando. What's going on, Alex? It was frustrating.
Joe. What up, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, just hanging out, man. How you down there in Mickey Mouse Town?
We're doing good. It's nice and warm, but, COVID is running rampant down here.
No way.
Everywhere.
That's right.
Still everywhere.
All right, whatever. I have a
It's
question.
like the Ultimate Warrior at this point.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I had it already, so I survived.
Yeah, well, there's like 7 different strains, but I hope you survive them all.
Shout
we
out,
hope
friend.
everybody survives, by the way. That's our stance on the COVID here at the Pat McAfee Show. We hope everybody survives. What do you want to talk about, brother?
All right, so I have a potential
Just for
conspiracy,
everything.
And
It's opening forever. We wish for life.
Sorry, Alex. I mean, that's not your fault, but there's no way for you to ask whatever you're asking with how much time we have left in the conversation we just got on.
No.
We did just establish a stance that we have.
Yeah.
We hope everybody survives.
Yeah.
We hope. Much like what happened, a couple Wednesdays ago or whatever, and I came out and said, our stance is we are against idiots getting in the way of people doing good things. We are also in the stance that we hope everybody survives.
Well, and you said on Friday after Hank Aaron passed, hey, I hope we don't have to ever do this again. but we probably
We
will.
root against death.
Hell yeah.
Pro-life.
We are
Pro-life.
we are against death. Oh. I hope I never have to. Dumbest show of all time.
For real.
But I want to let you know that's the type of optimism coming out of this office. We're hoping that nobody ever passes away again.
Ever.
Packers died yesterday.
Yes, they did.
So did the Bills. But for how long? How long will we have to hear Brady Mahomes forever? What's next for all the franchises in the NFL? Chris Carter will join us in the second hour. Cannot wait to talk to him. You got about 6 minutes. Go ahead and do it.
Trick shot challenge. Balcony. Yep. Trick shot challenge, half court shot.
No problem. Matt or Foxy? These are fun games. These are fun little games.
But we won. They did it.
Trick shot, throw that football. Who?
Easy game. What's next, Foxy?
Got a trick shot for you.
Yeah, what is it?
Drop kick into the net. Trick shot challenge. Into the bucket.
By the way, I'm standing.
Hold on, let me go over here.
Watch that back, you know.
That's a good toss.
You gotta watch behind it for all that shit. What's next, brother? Got any more brain busters? I mean, I'm not sure it's better because we're in a building, but I have to keep it below the lights, below our air venter thing that broke and caught on fire yesterday. Can't go outside because it's a torrential downpour, so let's give it a go. In Indianapolis, Indiana. With the shot. Let's go! I know!
Trick shot challenge. 4 bags in a row.
That's a corner. It's not a trick shot. What's next? Cakewalk. How's it done? I mean, how is it done? You know what I mean? Well, I took the top off and he's going to come right there. Bingo! What a shot!
I had to put a little arch on it.
Number 2 pick in the NFL draft for a reason. Guy can spin!
Pretty big breaking news.
Oh
no.
What's that? Oh, he got that! Oh, he got that! He got that! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Tony! Gordon Jeffner! to a goddamn break. Can't happen. Can't win with it. Everything I just said was wrong.
It would have been cool though if it was
That would have been cool, wouldn't it? Diggs just got it darn Schefter.
Oh my
It was at Ultra Weed Hater.
He
got McCockiner.
What was it doing on my timeline?
Bro, McCockner's just jujuing on me.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back here on this Overreaction Monday, January 25th, 2021. Field Yates joined us in the first hour. Chris Carter's joining us this hour. Never talked to him on air. Hour 2 will now begin because of that Twine beat drop here on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. Chris Carter's never been on the show, right?
I do not believe so, no.
Can't wait to talk to him. He was the coach of my team in a Pro Bowl.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so I met him. I met him whenever we had to drive out to the desert for practice.
Oh, yeah.
Hour and a half, 2 hours into the desert, and then on the way back, stuck in traffic, make that thing even longer.
Oh, really?
So we got to know each other pretty well on that bus. JJ was on there. That's where I met JJ.
Okay.
It was Jason Kelsey was on there. That's where I met the Kelseys. And Chris Carter was on there. And it was great talking to him. He was electric.
Good
now,
talker.
he worked at ESPN and at Fox. I'm not 100% sure what he's doing now, but all I know is he's a Hall of Famer. So it's going to be a good conversation. I assume he will have some takes on what had happened yesterday. Speaking of yesterday, let's dive into it. At Tone Diggs is here. At Boston Connor's here. Ty is here. Zito is here. The big conversation right now, boys, is Patrick Mahomes stoppable whenever Patrick Mahomes wants to not be stoppable? It is unbelievable the ability to turn it on and turn it off. Travis Kelce could have caught, if the game was longer, maybe 70 to 75 balls if he wanted to. They're running that zone against Patrick Mahomes, and I was talking to a couple people this morning. Can't run zone against Patrick Mahomes, right? Because they'll be able to find people that can just pick it apart. There are zone beaters, and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are basically the two prototypes of zone beaters, okay? Travis Kelce can just sit underneath while Tyreek Hill can stretch your zone or come underneath and get yardage after that whole thing. And Tony Romo was pitching 3 down linemen with Milano following him or whatever and everybody else sitting back in kind of an umbrella coverage. And maybe that would have worked, but I struggled to see how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be able to do what nobody else has really been able to do while Patrick Mahomes and these boys have been together, and that's stop them from getting a win. Although I do believe with the way Pierre-Paul has been playing and Fisher out and Vita Vea is back, and he did cause some problems yesterday, even though he didn't play the entire game. I feel like the Chiefs were right in the middle. You go back, 20 years for that Patriots thing, and I don't know if anybody was telling anybody, like, hey, fucking pay attention, okay? For the next, 19 years or so, these motherfuckers are going to do this thing, and they're just going to run it back and run it back and run it back. And you're like, no, not possible. It's like, yeah, I agree. Not fucking possible. Not supposed to be possible. The way parity is, with the way draft is, with salary cap, everything like that, especially if you lose in the Super Bowl, the odds of making it back to the Super Bowl before the Patriots and the Bills team, I guess, of the fall back in the day, was so low, so hard to go back. And the Patriots were able to do it back to back to back. And all anybody wanted to do was throw rocks at things that shine. Mm-hmm. Right now, I think we should be enjoying the shit out of this Chiefs dynasty that we're about to see. And I think they win the Super Bowl ultimately. But I got a lot of friends down in Tampa that are like, hey, we're playing football at a different level right now. Have a little bit of respect. And I can respect that, especially after the big win yesterday in Lambeau.
The only way I see Mahomes getting stopped is potentially just like when Brady threw 50 touchdowns the year that they were going up against the Giants going in the Super Bowl, and the Giants had that package where they got to Brady, and the Bucks, who have Shaq Barrett, who have Sue, who have Vita Vea, who have JPP, and then the Chiefs.
Sue, I completely forgot about Sue. He doesn't have a Super Bowl, and here he is. I completely forgot about Sue.
Fisher's out. Schwartz is out, who was their starting tackle. Asemele was out. Duvernay-Tardif is out solving COVID.
In Canada, by the way.
So that's 4, I believe, of their starters from last year's Super Bowl. So the only way, maybe, is if they get pressure on Mahomes. But
which, by the way, that's how you get them, by the way, is your front 4 have to be able to create pressure. Yeah. But then you have to keep him in the pocket, because if he gets outside the pocket, he extends the play. If he extends the play, ain't nobody can keep up with Tyreek Hill. That thing yesterday to Tyreek Hill where he cut it back, wild. And we talked about it earlier. Josh Norman was like, holy shit. Everybody, there's a couple plays from Tyreek Hill's career where you turn it on and you think to yourself, how is that human? That human. You know what I mean? Like, how, amongst all the best athletes how is that particular human the one that does it? There's a game against New England, I think, where he caught like a comeback route, and there was 3 people around him, and he ran backwards and then just around it, and they wouldn't have touched him if it was flag football or 2-hand touch, and it was in a literal phone booth. Last night was one of those things when he cut it back, and I thought he was going to do it 2 different times. The one he went out of bounds and ended up getting tackled. That one where he cut it back and went for it, like, that's quite an X factor for you. And it almost feels like Tyreek Hill is always on. Yeah. Like, do you remember a time where you're like, you know what, Tyreek Hill, bad game? I don't think so. Nope. At least since he's got those gloves that have the peace signs on them, it feels like he has been on every game. He feels like he's always going to be good. And Travis Kelce, always going to be open, it seems like.
It was kind of funny last night because Hardman had the muff punt, and then he had a few big plays after that. And then Tyreek Hill had the drop on the first drive, I believe it was. It was 3rd and 3, and then they went deep to him and he dropped it. But then after that, he absolutely took off as well.
Yeah, it's just, and by the way, you're going to get so many shots at it because the way Andy Reid's offense is like, hey, here we go, we're going. How about Williams coming in?
Yeah,
he's
running hard.
Stud. Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes in, they give him a couple. Okay, no, we're going to go back to our undrafted guy. He runs his ass off out there. By the way, good for Steelers fans. Lev Bell and Antonio Brown both in the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Congrats to them.
Comeback story.
Congrats to them. At Nick Morato's in the back, big Steelers fan. I'm sure you're pumped up for ex-Steelers now, getting a chance to represent former Steelers in the Super Bowl now, right? That's good for the
Will they be vaccinated sitting in the crowd as well? Because they'll have about as much impact as those
I can get a ticket and go too. I mean,
$10,000 right now.
No, I cannot get a ticket and go too.
I mean, feasibly, you could figure out a way to get that and go, but I think it is $10,000, and then I would assume the protocol to get in is going to be rather difficult.
Yeah, I believe they have the COVID sniffing dogs for the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Oh my God! By the way, how was that not the headline? I forget when that happened. Saturday?
Yeah, Miami Heat announced it.
Yeah, it was a tweet, and I'll tell you what, Twitter is filled with tweets.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Shut the fuck up, you. All right, let's get to it. Twitter is filled with things. All right, a lot of shit. We all know it. Twitter gets a lot of bad rap. Twitter should get a lot more good rap because of how small it makes the world feel, how connected you are to people that you would have never had any connection to, information that you would have never had information to. But then also, there's some very negative drawbacks to that type of stuff as well, with the virality of things that potentially aren't true and all that. Maybe the best headline I've ever seen, and it came from ESPN or something like that, about the Miami Heat will be testing coronavirus sniffing dogs to secure a safe playing area. And I was like, excuse me, fuck the playing area. If we got canines that are sniffing coronavirus now, open it up.
Yeah.
Right? Are we not right back in the game?
Dog at every entrance.
Are we not? Right. By the way, shout out to canines, dude.
Yeah.
Shout them out.
Thank you, dog.
Best dogs. And obviously canines cannot get COVID-19, I guess is what they're saying, because one of the biggest things of getting COVID-19 is taste and smell gone.
Yeah, true.
So is that what happens? The dogs they find it and then they lose their smell and they're like a canary flying into a cave and then they come back? Is that what's going to happen? Or are we sacrificing dogs to COVID-19 sniffs, or can these dogs fucking right here, dude? If that's the case, I'd like at least a dog in this particular office.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be great if we could all get a couple of these dogs and move forward. Are we back open? Are games happening? Is the Super Bowl going to be packed with coronavirus sniffing dogs and fans because of that case? Let's go. I'm pretty pumped up about it.
Dogs are always the answer. I'm sure we could teach one of ours.
I was just going to say, they should just release a statement on how to teach your dog how to sniff out COVID.
I will say this, Elon Musk, he had a patent or whatever on how his cars operate. You know, because for a long time, cars operated in one particular fashion. And he came along and somehow made a safer, more affordable, faster, quicker car than any other car in the history of existence out of fucking nowhere.
Curious.
Okay? Kind of weird how that happens.
Yeah, a little bit.
Out of nowhere, like, I'm thinking about it, and then just creates the greatest car of all time, right? I had one of the first ones. It was faster than my teammates' Porsches, Lamborghinis, and everything like that. Just somehow, some way, you got car sick whenever you're riding in it. And by the way, no gas at all. It plugs into your wall.
Damn.
So it's like, how the fuck did this happen? You know, this makes no sense. You're not from our planet. We know it. But he released his patents or whatever. And he said he released the how-to build what he built or whatever because he said he felt as if we were on a sinking ship. And if you knew how to plug the holes on the ship and you didn't tell anybody, you're basically sinking the ship or whatever. He was talking about in the protection of the ozone and everything. We need electric cars or whatever and kind of let it all out there. I think if they could teach us how to teach our dogs how to sniff coronavirus, that'd be in the same field. Hey, we're all on a sinking ship right now.
Yeah.
Get us the goddamn tricks for the dogs to go ahead and smell coronavirus. That'd be better for everybody. Let's do it.
Open the damn planet back up.
Look,
Here
here
we
it is,
go.
Sports Center. The Heat plan to use coronavirus sniffing dogs to screen fans who want to attend their games. Sounds good. I have a fucking coronavirus sniffing dog next to me. You want to talk to me? You got to pass through the fucking booch.
We're back.
That's awesome. The world's back.
Yeah, we made it.
Shout out to K9.
All right. Thank you, dog.
By the way,
Best friend.
By the way, way back in the day, dogs have always saved the humans. Always, this could be another situation here if Sports Center is accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, if Sports Center is accurate, dogs have always, way back in the day, you know what I mean? They would just walk right into a bomb.
Yeah.
Boom. And then dogs got out and were like, should probably walk around this way.
Look out.
And one guy didn't trust the first dog, was like, oh, that fucking, we're going this way. Boom, dead. And everybody's like, well, goddamn, this dog seems to know what's going on. Get a bunch of other dogs. How about this? Police were just chasing people into the great darkness, just running as fast as they can into the woods. Dogs came around and were like, okay, will you just get us to the car real quick? What it smell? All right, we'll be back about 20 minutes.
Unhook me.
Fucking go get it. Now, they're just out here sniffing coronavirus? Let's go, dude.
I do hope COVID
Let's
doesn't
go.
hear about this, though, because if we know anything about COVID, it's petty. It's a petty son of
Stop.
a bitch.
Don't even
and
say
they
it.
will,
Stop.
They will create their own new strand. I'm just saying.
By the way, that was sports news. So everything you just did was sports news.
You raised a good point. I mean, why are they not letting 75, 80,000 people into the Super Bowl?
The dogs are in Miami.
Dogs already down there.
The dogs are in Miami.
Dog per section.
Get the dogs to Tampa. We got a Super Bowl, dude.
Hopefully it can sniff the variant as well. That's my only worry.
Oh, you think it's only going to be trained for one particular?
It's a variant.
The dogs are different than the flu shot, okay?
The denominator doesn't care about the variant.
The flu, don't even get into that, but the flu shot is guessing which strain or strand of flu is coming, right? That's why you can get the flu shot and sometimes get the flu because it's a different strand or whatever.
Right.
What if the dogs are only taught on OG COVID-19?
Yeah.
That is interesting because what I've heard is COVID-19 A, B, C, and D are all fucking coming off the top rope more so than anybody else.
Blooming.
Don't know how that's possible, by the way. Don't know how these ones are stronger and more disastrous when the first one, by the way, shut down the whole fucking world.
Yeah.
Double mask, triple mask, quadruple mask,
Adapt and
whatever it takes.
Gonna need them all.
Hey, listen. Why do we need masks if you got these dogs?
True.
We need to create these dogs. We need to start creating these dogs.
Now, mass produce these dogs.
Clone them.
Now.
You got the technology. Clone them all.
And that's because SportsCenter tweeted that coronavirus dogs are going to be used at Miami Heat games to make sure no fans have COVID getting into the building. And we talk about the NBA here. So that's why that is sports talk.
How do you even train that?
Well, that's what we're saying, Zito, is it's mostly bullshit. That's what
I'm still seeing the truth out of it
That is
somehow,
potentially what we are talking about, is how that seems to be most likely bullshit. But if it's not, let's go dogs! Let's go dogs! Let's go dogs! For the brand, for sure.
It's the same way we train Zito with food.
I do learn a lot of new things when I'm eating.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's go to Nick in Jersey. What's going on, Nick?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, Nick, you sound fantastic. What do you want to talk about? I'll tell you what, if you got any info on these COVID sniffing dogs, it would go very good right now.
Share.
Nah, no info yet. I'll try to train my 2 dogs to sniff it out.
Hurry up.
Yeah. Quick question. What do you plan on doing to that bandwagon Fairweather Stooge fan of Helwani when he comes back on?
Great question, Nick. I was asked this morning by the boys or by somebody on Twitter, I forget who it was, is Ariel coming on today? Does he have to face the music, Because will he look like Ty, who, by the way, in the first hour when Ty was talking about the Packers' loss in the season and everything that could be, almost shed a damn tear here on the air.
Damn near.
People in the comments section were wondering if you were going to be able to bounce back for the rest of the show after that first diatribe you gave about the state of the Packers, and we appreciated you being that raw and that genuine in your feelings.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You think Ariel's feeling that same way today?
Well, he's not a real Bills fan, right? So he doesn't care.
He probably didn't even know.
Did he watch the game?
Well, Conor McGregor got into a fight the night before.
True.
Yeah.
Tough couple
So
of
maybe
days.
he was, because, last time the Bills were playing, there was another fight on, so he couldn't even watch a game.
True.
Because he was watching a fight. But this game, he had to have watched. He had to have locked himself in his basement or wherever he does and watch that whole game. And you got to feel good if you're a Bills fan, by the way. But I would like to see how Ariel is feeling. I'll send him a text or whatever to make sure he's okay.
Might have to think about a Helwani curse. Talks to McGregor. He gets knocked the fuck out.
Second round.
Becomes a Bills fan. They lose in the AFC Championship.
Now, okay, you did bring something up there, the Conor McGregor losing. I, like 99% of the world, probably, I'd assume, fell asleep long before that fight even.
Yes.
Long before that fight even thought about happening.
Hours.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, I woke up to take a piss in the morning, and I went over to my phone. I opened up Twitter, saw him night, and said, oh, damn. Then I went to the search button, and I said, what happened to Conor? And I saw immediately, and I was like, all right, put my phone down, went right back to sleep. Dana White's going to be fighting that for a long time, I think. Conor is obviously must watch. I bought. They got money from me, even though I heard they're refunding people, because when I initially bought it, I couldn't even fucking get in, by the way. There was an error processing, and people are saying since Dana called out one of the illegal streamers, that the illegal streamer potentially triple stamped to double stamp. Said they potentially got hacked. The internet was saying, shouldn't have went after those. They were saying that potentially happened.
Pick your fights wisely.
I initially was like, oh, it's so big, they couldn't handle it. They didn't expect it because it is Conor McGregor. But once I started seeing the internet people being like, don't think you can just cross these streamers and just be like, hey, motherfucker, I'm coming. And they're just sitting there like,
You and that illegal streamer was like, I got you, fucker.
Is that right? Okay. Now, that is all conspiracy fodder for why did ESPN Plus not work. A lot of people were wondering. It ended up working, I assume, for a lot of people. I thought it was just my internet. I guess they're refunding people. But that Conor McGregor fight, I guess that guy was just beating the shit out of his calf.
Yeah, slamming his leg.
Bang, bang, bang. Mm-hmm. And some people I know from the fighting world said, it felt like it got to a point where Conor was almost like, just fucking get me out of here.
Yeah.
And I think that was his comments afterwards about inactivity, right? Mm-hmm. Because I would assume if you're not getting punched in the face or kicked, and it's happening like every other year or something like that, you could potentially, in the middle of your yachts and pretty comfortable life, that you can, I don't want to say forget or kind of get content and not remember what it's like to get punched in the mouth or kicked in the leg or whatever, which is one of the reasons why he was such a savage, because he was always letting me wooble back to me corner, you know what I mean? Like that whole thing. Now it's a much different world. I'd assume as the fights go on, he'll only get better. But if you're not getting punched in the mouth every other month or whatever, I mean, it's probably a much different time. Man, sir, you know a lot more about this than any of us. You're a diehard UFC guy. You put out a tweet about Mickey which seemed to resonate pretty real in the entire situation from Rocky.
It's the Rocky 3 story. You know, Mickey realizes that Rocky doesn't stand a chance against Clubber Lang because the worst thing happened to Rocky that could happen to any fighter. He became civilized.
Yeah, and that's the clip, right? And once you start thinking of Conor, and I said this
You can't win, Rock.
I said this before the Cowboy fight, so I kind of, and I'm a big Conor McGregor fan.
Yeah.
Bet on him whenever he boxed Floyd Mayweather. Large bet. That's how much. I was like, if Conor believes he can do it, I believe Conor can do it. But I said, you know, in that world, it feels, now we got a chance to see how Matt Mitrione, Chris Lytle, and others train here in Indianapolis for UFC and Bellator. They are in the basement of a very shitty house in Indianapolis with just mats on the floor, basically. Take your shoes off at the front. You're going to come in here and we're going to beat the fuck out of each other for 3 to 4 hours. And then we're going to come back tomorrow morning and do the same. And it was some of the most insane stuff I've ever seen. They all shook hands, obviously, with each other. There was jiu-jitsu for a little bit. There was boxing for a little bit. There was everything else. And it was in this dungy-like basement field. Now, they have many champion fighters coming out of this basement. They have many championship fighters coming out of this basement. It's a really good place. But whenever you watch that, and then you see Conor McGregor get $100 million from something, and he's on a yacht and everything, I'm like, I feel like in the combat world, you have to have a little bit of an edge. Like I just feel like there has to be something that gets you up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. to go get punched in the face in that dungy thing, then go into a cold tub, and then in the afternoon, I believe they run. They just run all afternoon. Jeez. And I'm not saying Conor didn't do any of that. He looked amazing. But I would assume, just like when you don't have a quarterback in the NFL, those extra routes after practice, those extra whatever, I assume that's kind of maybe got less, maybe, I'm not sure. And then there was obviously you didn't take your sparring partner, but I was listening to Conor McGregor. He said he brought his whole team to places like they were an NFL team. I guess he didn't bring his sparring partners. So has he been punched in the face? What will he learn from it going forward? Is his money completely gone now because he loses to Poirier? Probably not, right? I mean, there's just a lot of questions now about what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hope if you're a Conor McGregor fan that this loss kind of reminds him to go back to square one. Again, back to Rocky 3, right? Let's get back, let's get down, let's get dirty. Hey, this is a guy that was on welfare when he started with the UFC, and now he's shot up like the Jeffersons to that deluxe apartment in the sky.
It's going to be tough to just go back to that, though. Man, when do we get those floating cars, by the way? You know what I mean?
Got to ask Elon.
Tooting around. I mean, there are jetpacks out there. Right?
They got the technology.
We got VR now, too.
VR is awesome.
Well, I was going to say, it's like you got a country club lifestyle like Foxy coming up. You go into that easy mode in the Oculus Arena, and there's no adversity. So you're just knocking everybody out. You get real comfortable.
Yeah. That's very true.
Interesting.
Yeah. That Oculus Arena, by the way, is awesome.
Comparison we're going to go with?
Yeah. Well, the Oculus Arena, I streamed a couple times. I streamed this weekend. It was a good time. Me and Zito in the Oculus Arena went live. Probably going to take that to Twitch if I had to guess.
Oh, okay.
I think so, yeah. I guess that's the way the gaming thing goes. I think it's more, we'll cut clips for YouTube, obviously, for this whole thing, but I think we're going to take it to Twitch. Yeah. I'm enjoying it a lot in there. I'm throwing bombs at people on the stream, chit-chatting, interacting, and there's a game called Drunken Bar Fight where you can just go in there and start swinging on people.
You're chucking, pool balls?
Yeah, and cue sticks.
Passion people. Saw you with the banging.
Yeah, a couple of I had a walker, too. Yeah. All right, let's get to we got to get to a break. Chris Carter will join us on the other side. I'm going to talk to him about all this stuff. He's seen it. He's been there, done that with damn near everything in the game of football. Cannot wait to chat with him. It'll be my first time talking to him on air. Chris Carter, Hall of Famer, 8-time Pro Bowler. Once a Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Ooh. Wow.
We'll talk to him on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Hey, listen, tonight, you in the red, you in the blue. I hate you both, and fuck you too. Before I leave here, I'm knocking all you out. Cheers. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You too. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. bang, and I'm out. Get me out.
Last night I was roaming around Canal and Bourbon, and it was a lot of purple. And when you get in that Mercedes-Benz Dome, and it starts getting loud and it gets rompous, obviously, not only for momentum and swings like that it can help, but for the defensive line to get a jump. I think that is a big deal. A lot of freak athletes on the field, and kickers are a spectacle no matter what happens. Whenever you're in those high-pressure moments, you normally fall back on your fundamentals. You normally fall back on your technique. You try to take your brain out of it. Cade York hits a beautiful ball.
One person up in the parking garage.
And think about him warming up right now. There's just 3 dudes in suits breaking down every single move he makes during his warm-up. What a wild scene here for Trevor Lawrence.
Quarterback, number 9, Joe Burrow.
You're supposed to be some draft expert, and you say Joe Burrow was a 5th-round draft pick before this year. Now he's number 1 overall. What do you know? What do you know, Todd? Tim, you are so handsome, it's ridiculous. What do you think has been happening in this first quarter? Why has Joe Burrow been stumped by this Clemson defense?
I think Brent Venables is the best DC in the country, and it's honestly not a shock to me. He did this to Tua last year.
Odell Beckham just stopped by.
Odell's very excited.
Odell's happy with the 52-yard attempt coming from the kid from Clemson. I've seen Odell make this with a spinning ball. And B.T. Potter puts it through from 52 in Odell's. Not in your face. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't in your face. You weren't looking at it.
That's a career high for B.T. Potter.
Bro, imagine Joe Burrow just having to stand in there and know that Isaiah Simmons is scot-free right in your suckle. That's a bad call. No chance Alberto Riverod would turn that over. He was in the Buccos organization.
I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Welcome back to the show. Overreaction Monday, January 25th, 2021, years after 0. Wow. Whoa. Think about that. It's a lot of years, dude.
Yeah.
This is the year that we've discovered that we have dogs that can sniff out COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They will be down at the Miami Heat game making sure there's no COVID coming into the game.
Smart.
Shout out to those dogs. Hopefully we'll be able to get more of them. Joining us now is a man who's a Hall of Famer, a Walter Payton Man of the Year winner, 8-time Pro Bowler. You've seen him on ESPN. You've seen him on Fox. I'm not exactly sure where he is right now, but hopefully we will learn. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most electric people in the history of the NFL, Chris Carter.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Hey.
You're doing a great job.
Me?
You have transitioned, remarkable. Especially for a kicker.
Hey.
I'm so proud of you. You've adapted to this thing that we call the media. I like your analyst shirt. Yes, you're an analyst.
Thank you.
I listen to you all the time. So congratulations on your success. And I've been working with the NFL and the NFL operations office for the last year. So
Well, I appreciate all your love, by the way. I told everybody listening, I got to meet you at the Pro Bowl. You were the coach of the team I was on, and we were on a bus for 2 hours to practice and 2 hours back. We got to learn a lot about each other. Andrew's son, Deron, was on our team, who I am a massive fan of. So I appreciate you joining us. Let's talk about the NFL and the NFL ops. What have you been doing? We changing rules? We discussing how to make the game better? What have you been doing over there?
Well, we're always changing the rules. We're trying to be more efficient. How can the game run faster? But I think when you look at this past year, what we've dealt with as far as the pandemic, social unrest, and how the league, the owners, the club owners, and the players have all come together to be able to adapt. And we've been through the whole season. Not one game was canceled, and we're getting ready to play the Super Bowl with 20-something odd thousand people there. It's a really credit to the business of the National Football League, and they really took this COVID thing serious. They knew it wasn't going to go away. And yes, we suffered from an economical standpoint, but the game being played, Tom Brady in Super Bowl 55 in Tampa, first time ever a team's able to host, is going to be in the game against the modern day GOAT in Patrick Mahomes. How could it be any better for the NFL? So yes, it's been a tough year for all of us, but the NFL and the players and all their partners are able to get through it.
Yeah, I would say this is, and by the way, I think the championship games, everybody would say they got it right then too. You know, like the NFL got it right this year as well.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire season. 4 of the top 5 QBs are represented, aside from Russell Wilson, by the way. So we're talking to Chris Carter, Hall of Fame wide receiver. Is Roger Goodell involved? You talk to Roger Goodell? He's my commissioner, but do you talk to Roger Goodell on a daily basis, weekly basis?
I don't talk to Roger Goodell. I'm more in the operations. If I need Roger, I have been in communication. I've been very fortunate to be involved with the league as long as I have. So when they decided to catch, no catch, I was part of that. And continuing growing the game. It's not only important what's going on the field, but also who's the future of the game? Who are the future players in the game? And where we're going to find our players from, and trying to communicate that to them and helping them bridge the gap to help them have a career, a lot like yourself. Couple Pro Bowls, 8 years playing in the league, had a good time playing at it. But if someone else has a dream like you, it's really it's our desire to really make that dream come true to more people. So the future of the game, the current players playing the game, not only the rules, how the game has been played, and then also the NFL legends, which you're a part of. That's any player that's played one down in the National Football League. So they got me fairly busy.
Yeah, well, I appreciate all the work you're doing. And by the way, helping out the greatest league on earth is, I sure you assume, is a massive honor, and only want to make it better. I did not know that the Legends community was just one snap, because every time I get an email that says, Dear Legend, I feel real good about it. Now I know that that's a much larger net than I had originally planned for. But hey, it's all right. I'll still read those.
Pat, just think about it. If you actually made it to the NFL, your community you came from, the parents you came from, the people that supported you, as far as the percentages of who makes it even one down, you're a legend. And they did it the right way. We're putting a lot of resources into it, and we're trying to help these guys in many, many facets. But the overall recognition of who you are in this world is you should understand that.
Well, hey, I appreciate that, and that was awesome. I'll probably clip that and use that for the rest of my life, coming from Chris Carter. Let's talk about the football. Let's talk about it. Yesterday, you see Tom Brady somehow throw 3 picks and a half, still get a win over the MVP, who throws for 3 tuds, 346 yards. Then obviously on a 4th and goal situation, 2 minutes left. Chris, just your overall reaction to the NFC game with 2 OGs kind of battling in Lambeau in a historic game, a game that's going to be talked about for a very long time, mostly because of the decision that happened at the end with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but I could Green Bay was playing like they were playing a regular season game. And maybe they thought that was the Chicago Bears and Mitch Trubisky. And, oh, yeah, we'll get a stop and come back down, then convert for 2. Or they even thought about maybe my Vikings. Oh, Kirk Cousins, he'll throw us one. So we'll take the field goal now, and we'll stop them. But it's a team game. And the reason why Tom Brady is the greatest is he's been on some of the greatest teams. And Tom played good. But when he let the team down, the defense went 3 and out. The defense got off the field. That's what preserved that win there. So, yes, Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur and them, they should have definitely went for it on 4th down. You are not going to get closer than that, a better opportunity than that to be able to score a touchdown and a conversion. And to decide to go for the field goal, I thought that was a total mistake. And then now, it's easy. Hindsight's 20/20, but they didn't touch the ball. He didn't get back on the field. And Aaron Rodgers only having home field advantage. I played Lambeau Field a bunch of times. I think at least 10 times. Him only having one home field advantage throughout his career, that's a crime. They should have had a better supporting cast around him that he could, because that is a true home field advantage. And if they would have been sold out yesterday, I don't think Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, with the overall crowd noise, because it makes a big difference, are able to win that game. So Tom and the Buccaneers, they were able to pull it out. But when Tom made mistakes late, the defense and the rest of the team came together and made plays.
All right, you said a lot there, so I want to kind of talk about it. Your initial point was that they were playing like it was a regular season game. That is such
they were playing. I was trying to use the quarterback that they play against on a regular basis.
Yeah, I got you. But also the mindset, though. This happened yesterday with the Bills against the Chiefs, like settling for field goals instead of going for it. They went for it early on 4th down, but then they didn't continue to do so. In the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, I mean, we saw with Andy Reid, with Chad Henne or whatever, I do feel like you have to play aggressive and kind of let it go. Don't you think so?
The greatest coach, Belichick, if you look at the biggest games he's ever played in, and especially when he played against quarterbacks that he thought were prolific, he was always aggressive. Those legendary battles between Brady and Peyton Manning with the Colts, man, you would see them fake punts. You see them try all different types of plays because he knew that the stakes were different. It is not a regular season game, even though it's played in the same stadium, on the same field, with the same amount of time. Each play is bigger, and they did not maximize that moment and realize the gravity of the situation. And you have to win the Super Bowl. You have to knock out the greatest quarterback. With all that experience and everything, I don't know why they thought going for the field goal then was going to be the right play.
Hey, you take it out of your guy's hand. By the way, I think they called timeout there. All right, let's use one of our timeouts. We have 3 of them. Again, 2-minute warning. Let's go ahead and figure out what our best fucking play is here. Okay, what have we not done yet? Where can we isolate Devontae at maybe or whatever? Let's go ahead and do this. Let's get this thing, as opposed to we're saving our timeouts for after we get a stop against Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. It just doesn't. It just none of it makes sense. And I feel like
let's take the different psyches from the end of the fourth quarter to the end of the second quarter. Bruce Arians, Tom Brady had a Parker on. They pulled him off the bench. And I'm gonna tell you something, and Pat, I hope you can go with me and listen on this, because people have a lot of stereotypes. My man Scotty Miller, all right, white guy, he's white.
Very.
I'm black. I'm gonna say this. The defensive back of Tampa Bay underestimated that white kid. If that had been Antonio Brown, he would have been backed off of. Never disrespect the talent level of anyone in the National Football League. The only way they can hurt you is if he gets behind you. And he underestimated the wheels on my man.
Hey.
And I saw you tweet.
Hey.
When he got that stick in the relay, he said he hawked that dude down, who happened to be a brother. He hawked out about 3 brothers. You can say it, man.
Scoot.
He disrespected the Caucasian, man.
Chris, I will say this. In practice, some of my favorite moments, okay, we had Austin Coley there for a bit, right? Austin goes on a guy in practice. The reaction. Oh, my God. Hey, you just got by a white guy. Hey, and it's even me on the sideline, right? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it is. That's a real thing. And Scotty Miller, though, I think if you've been watching all season, he's been that guy. But the guys in the office, they said the same thing. They said, you think Antonio Brown's out there, Kevin King is doing a much different setup. And I would say exactly what you said. I think
every white receiver is not a slot receiver.
Oh,
dude's got legitimate speed. I'm talking about legitimate NFL speed. And that's what you saw last night. Tom Brady knew that the corner had settled his hips. All he had to do was hold the safety, and he put a perfect ball, threw it right over the top of his head. I mean, that was an amazing play.
Hey, think even further than that, though. 8 seconds left, 4th and 3. They need to get in field goal range still because it's cold as hell here. You need to be playing outside it anyways, right? Because you think every ball is coming. The fact that Scotty got his outside now, Dan Orlovsky said it was because he cut the split down and everything like that. The play was designed for that. But if you're Kevin King, you got to be outside the wide.
Dan Orlovsky's wrong because no matter where that guy lines up, I'm outside corner. I'm 1 yard outside, 7 yards, but 1 yard outside.
For sure.
If he go to the bathroom, the coach tell me, get on his outside shoulder.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
So unless they were in man-to-man, that's the only reason why his hips should be inside. It is poor technique. It's falling in love with the quarterback. It's losing your train of thought. It's not being focused. It's giving up the biggest play in Packers and NFC history on the defensive end. That's what it is, Orlovsky. That's what it is, bro. Call it what it is. You in pro football. This ain't pee-wee. This ain't high school.
Hey,
You're supposed to be locked in. Only thing that dude can run is the deep out or the takeoff. That's the only thing he can run.
Hey, I love it whenever we can get it. Dan Orlovsky's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure if he was. I might have misstated what he said, but I love what you said there. Let's go with let's go with pro football's highest right now. And you said the next generation. Patrick Mahomes in that Chiefs team all year. They never covered worth a damn, okay? So we lost a lot of money betting on them this year. But anytime they needed it, whether it was a play, drive, or in this particular case, a game, whenever they need it, they have the ability to turn it on. Not a lot of people have this, right? And now their entire team seems to have it. You got Travis Kelce, who seems to be unguardable. Tyreek Hill is just a completely different human on the field. It makes no sense. Patrick Mahomes can make every single player. Them losing Fisher is obviously a problem. The defense is a bunch of dogs, it feels like, and Andy Reid isn't scared of a damn thing. That team, it feels like we're in the middle of this, huh? It's about to go for maybe the next 10 years, it feels like.
Well, it's hard to do. And there's a guy with a cape on Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the one that stopped this from getting started. Tom Brady could stop it. He beat him in the AFC Championship 2 years ago. They got through that overtime game. All right? Tom Brady, man, has still got something to be said about this history and everything. Before you get ahead of yourselves and start putting crowns and everything on people, the offensive line of Kansas City is getting ready to play at least the 60 hardest minutes of football they have ever played. Because JPP, Shaq, and Ndamukong Suh, oh my God.
Vita Vea.
Oh, he's even getting some snaps back, and he's a wide load.
2 more weeks,
That rotation that they got, that's going to determine the game. Now, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy ain't good enough to be a coach for anybody else but Kansas City. That's a whole nother subject.
A lot of bad hires.
They have put so much speed outside, and they put Tyreek Hill in the slot. Now, I consider to be one of the best slot receivers ever.
Attaboy, hey. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. We agree. We're on your side here.
And if Tyreek Hill, if I could run as fast as he could walk, Andy Reid putting him in the slot. He's got a 3-way go on the routes. You can't bump him. If you bring a safety over top, they run so many seam routes, and Kelce is uncoverable. He's one of my favorite players playing in the league. So this will be a battle royale. Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, I want to see the scheme. Because when he faced Tyreek Hill earlier, remember Tyreek Hill had 200 yards in a quarter. So he will definitely do the opposite of what he did in that matchup.
What do you got, Connor?
Yeah, Chris, we've had a lot of conversations surrounding Phillip Rivers getting into the Hall of Fame. As someone who's already in the Hall, do you think his career warrants that?
Well, I mean, this is what I like to tell people, and longevity should be the #1 criteria for being in the Hall.
I agree.
It's called the Hall of Fame. It's not called the Hall of the Very Good. And if you didn't play a long time, you better have been a Hello Spectacular. You better have been Gale Sayers. You better have been Terrell Davis. You better have been Calvin Johnson. If not, we can't even have the conversation. But for these guys who do it for a long period of time, you know how many times you got to walk in there, man, and watch that film? How many times you got to get your body to do something it don't want to do? He is absolutely, without a doubt, a Hall of Famer.
Bingo. Thank you,
Look
Chris.
at the era for which he played in. Look at the quarterback.
Hey, 17 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL, and some people are saying he does. 17 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL in a quarterback league. By far, by the way. But there's some people, for a good reason, they hold the Hall of Fame in such high regards, right? They're like, nobody should be able to get in there. They take ownership over the Hall of Fame. Whenever you're in the Hall of Fame, like you are, by the way, and a well-respected member of the Hall of Fame team, do you guys like sit around and talk and you say like, that bum shouldn't be here? Does that ever happen? You guys ever do that?
Well,
yeah.
The one asking, do Hall of Famers talk? Those are the best conversations ever. We should have a TV show.
You should.
I mean,
put it on YouTube. Because
we have the utmost respect for each other, but we conversate about guys that we thought were Hall of Famers, because I think the opinion of a guy that knocked me on my back, Larry Allen, telling you what Reggie White did to him. That's a great story. So I think the opinion of the Hall of Famers, it really holds a lot of weight, and we actually submit a ballot, and we have the percentages, and we select 5 guys from the list. That started about 4 years ago. We started having a voice behind the scenes, and we have 2 Hall of Famers in the room. So the Hall of Famers do play a vital part in who's going to get in, and we do all the interviews. I've been talking about my man Leroy Butler. I mean, he should just be in for creating the Lambeau League. But High Law, we were influential in getting him in last year, but Leroy Butler, we got to get him into the Hall of Fame. So yes, Hall of Famers do have some type of insight, and they do have some say.
As you should, by the way. And after you get done with all the people that deserve to be in there, if you guys want to toss me in as one of the 5, just like number 5, that'd be cool. You guys
I got to get my man Morton Anderson, man. He's become one of my favorite Hall of Famers once he got in.
Vinatieri's going to get in, you think? Vinatieri's definitely in. Vinatieri?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
Yes, without a doubt.
I like to hear that. Ty, what do you got?
Chris, with everything going on with Deshaun Watson, do you think there's any way that he stays in Houston?
Would you stay?
I don't know how they're going to make that happen.
Like, would you? I mean, God rest his soul. The previous owners, he let African Americans know how he felt about them on the national anthem debate. Like, so this is the son of the dad who was very opinionated as far as African Americans and what they should do with the national anthem and the protests that got hijacked and all that type of stuff. If you come to me and tell me, hey, I'm going to have you involved. Hey, you know something? We're going to have another show. Hey, Pat, you're going to be involved. And the next day they announce who they hired. What type of involvement did I have? He just thought he was doing me a favor, a token, so I'm just a token around here. Oh, you're going to have something to do with the coach. Well, I didn't have nothing to do with the general manager, so why would I have something to do with the coach? Well, interview Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy wasn't even on the first list, the list they made. So why would you stay? These quarterbacks have so much power, there's so much guaranteed money. Why would you stay in a place where they don't want you? There's other cities out there that would embrace and love to have him. So I believe there's no way he ends up back in Houston.
I think so. Not only from everything you just stated there, but also the rest of the locker room now at this point. It's at the point where I'll be intrigued to see who gets that head coaching job, who wants that head coaching job right now. For instance, Jim Caldwell is a guy that I got to play for that I absolutely loved. He was always like this. It was business, business, business. I don't even know if Jim Caldwell is the calming voice that could cool it all down, especially with what you're talking about with the owner. That is an intriguing situation. But
just imagine one day if you had woke up in Indianapolis and they had traded away Marvin Harris. Hadn't talked to Peyton Manning. Oh, trade away Reggie Wayne. Oh, we're just going to trade him away. Because that was the beginning of...
Oh, yeah. The bag of balls, basically. Yeah. It was for a 4th rounder, too. It was just like a get the hell out of here. It was a get the hell out of here, too. That was insane. All right, Nick's got a question for you.
Cece, what's one rule you would like to see the league adopt or change?
Adopt?
Can I tell you first before you go?
Go ahead.
So you can think a little bit. The XFL's review where the guy was on the Xbox controller and the people could hear what the reviewer was saying right to the ref. The ref didn't have to run anywhere. He just stood there with the earpiece in, and they replayed it, and you could see the replay, and it was quick. It was efficient. Everybody understood why the thing was, and boom, it just moved on. That's one thing I'd like to. Now, hopefully you got some time to see what you would like to change as well.
I'd like to see the wide receiver force out come back into play because it takes out a spectacular play. We already know that we have the boundary. We already know the field, how wide it is and everything. But Roger's always talked to me, well, the fan always wants the spectacular play. Well, if you take out the force out, which allows me to make an attempt on the ball, an attempt to bring my feet in bounds, we bring some of that spectacular back into the game. So wide receiver, the force out, the DB cannot just force me out in the air. He has to allow me to catch the football like he normally would do, and then it would be on from there.
It's pretty, whenever they change that rule and you start seeing corners, by the way, going low and like carrying guys out of bounds, it almost became a wild tactic. What do you got, Diggs?
CC, how much do you love the success of all these young wide receivers coming in the league and immediately having success? And what do you think about some of them who dance on logos before the game to build their brand?
That's a big Steelers fan there, by the way.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, I had warned people on TV that I didn't think Juju Smith-Schuster was the replacement for AB. I didn't think he had the overall wide receiver ability to be able to dominate, even though he started off with a spectacular season. So I thought there was going to be, and then I started to see how much he loves social media. And nothing wrong with social media, but I like to train my guy, become an expert at one thing first. And I prefer that to be your craft. I prefer that to be football. And then we'll branch out. We'll work on your brand and everything. But your brand should be, I'm damn good at what I do. They throw the ball in the air. I make magic happen. For you, you put the ball in your hands, you punt it, you kick it. That's what you go. I don't believe in these guys trying to be stars on social media and stuff before they really understand what it means to be a pro and dominate the pro game. So I've never really been a fan of that. The wide receiver's ability to dominate is what they're teaching at lower levels. We are benefiting from high schools and coaches that are not trying to run the ball now, and they're throwing the ball. So wide receivers are more developed. Colleges, Nick Saban, throwing the ball all over the place. The passing game is very friendly to them now. So now we're benefiting because in the league, without the bump and run, and wide receivers being a little more developed when they get there, them being successful, it is the coming together of a number of things. But I love to see it. I love to see young guys have success.
It seems like it's only going to keep growing and growing. And to your point about being good at your job and then doing your social media, a lot of people think that I was loud on social. I didn't have a clue what I was doing until I knew I was good. Then you can make some noise, especially at my position. That's kind of rule number 1 through 10. Chris, I can't thank you enough, man. You were electric. I hope we get to do this again.
Let's do it, bro.
Chris Carter. Yeah! Thank you, Chris. Hey. What a convo.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Great convo.
Hey, Scotty Miller thing's real, too.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on this show numerous times because we've had people, in buildings and in locker rooms and everything like that. White dude goes deep on somebody. It is electrifying in everything. And by the way, that's racist. Jesus. There's somebody right now that's on the internet that's sick of my shtick and thinks that we're racist against white people.
Oh, it's football profiling.
Analyst. I am analyzing. Okay. By the way, need one. Legend.
Yeah.
As he was. That's literally what I was thinking.
Yes.
Legend. And that'll be our commercial, by the way. Fucking love it. Let's get to Jameson in Kansas City here before the hour 2 ends. We got AJ Hawk joining us on the other side. What's going on, Jameson?
Pat and the boys, happy overreaction victory Monday from Chiefs Kingdom.
Congrats to you. Congrats to you, big win. What do you want to talk about, pal?
The run-it-back tour continues. I talked to you last week, and I said do not overlook Kansas City's defense in this game. After this performance, I think I second your point that you made to Chris Carter. They may be the most complete team in the NFL, and Chris Jones was Woo! An absolute animal.
What? Stone Cold Chris Jones? What? He went out there and played football? What? Him and Clark raised hell on defensive line? What? They're going into another Super Bowl? What? Are they going to win it again? What? They won a Hunt trophy? What? Who's their owners? What? The Hunts. What? They won their trophy? What? Now they're in the Super Bowl? What? Again? What? Run it back? What? Against Tom? What? No problem. What? Maybe. I don't know. That's going to be tough to bet on. Really is. I don't know what's going to happen. They did win their own trophy, by the way. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think it's safe to assume that if Brady throws 3 picks against the Chiefs, they may blow the doors off the Bucs.
Gumpy has a microphone, which means something's coming.
If the public keeps driving that number down, hammer the Chiefs.
Oh, see, I got friends down there in Tampa that did send me text messages immediately upon beating the Green Bay Packers, rubbing it in my face about betting on the Packers over them. So I'm not going to announce just yet that I'm hammering the Chiefs, but give it about 10 days. Gumpy's microphone's off. What's that, dude? Oh. Well,
dead.
I hope we don't have to do that again. Hour 2 ends the same way Hour 1 does. Full of optimism. AJ Hawk will be on the other side, plus reactions from around Twitter. Overreactions from Twitter. This is Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM. If something happens one time, anomaly. Happens 2 times, it's like, oh, okay, maybe. But whenever there's a trend of 18 plus, 20 plus things being predicted, you got to go like, hey, Groening, the gig's up. We know. You're a time traveler.
Just tell us.
Bro, I just want to talk to you. I got so many questions. Siegfried and Roy tiger attack. Do you remember that?
Of course.
Do you remember back in the day how tight Siegfried and Roy were with their tigers? It was like every main story was like, oh, these tigers are the best behaved animals on earth, blah, blah, blah. Simpsons in 1993 said the tiger is going to turn. This little friendly tiger is going to become an enemy of Siegfried and Roy quickly, and it's going to happen. 2003, it actually happened. Autocorrect errors, 1994. Before you could even play Snake on the gray little box phone, they predicted that autocorrect will happen on your phone. Are you kidding me? Didn't happen until 2007. FaceTime, 1995. Not even a thought. I don't even know if anybody knew what the fuck the internet was.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then the ring around it?
At?
See, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. No,
what is internet anyway?
In 1995, they said, don't worry, you'll be carrying around a device where you will be face-to-face with somebody on the opposite side of Earth. 1995, they said that. 2010, it happened. Faulty voter machines. 2008, they predicted it. 2012, it became the forefront of conversation in a big, big way. I assume these voter machines have been up in question for a long, long time, but they just knew that it was going to come to fruition in 2012.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Come on, it's time for a change.
3 votes for McCain.
The God particle. Now, this is the big one. Ty Schmidt did research. He said the God particle is the absolute reason why he is 1,000% a time traveler. Homer Simpson got up there like fucking Matt Damon in that movie where they have that
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, and draws up this equation for what the God particle is, what is the God particle?
Yeah, it's basically this equation that essentially like explains how the universe was created.
And they did that in 1998, and the exact equation happens in 2012.
That's unheard of.
14 years ahead of time. They got Homer Simpson up there looking like that goddamn janitor from Harvard, solving equations up on a chalkboard, and 14 years later, it's like, yeah, that's actually how the universe was founded. It's like, wait a fucking minute, little comedy writer with a goddamn yellow cartoon, bro. That's insane. The NSA spying scandal. Everybody knew that the Patriot Act was like in existence, but nobody had a clue that NSA literally knows everything about you. Every dick you've sent has been seen by some government agency, but it wasn't always like that. We didn't know that everything was getting spied on, Sean. Nobody knew that.
I didn't know.
They predicted that in 2007, 2013 it happened.
No, Lisa, it's not like the government is listening to everybody's conversation.
Smartwatches, 1995, they said it would happen. 2014, they came to fruition. America's Ebola outbreak, 1997, they said it. 2014. Do you remember when Ebola hit? It was literally
hospitals like shutting down.
Oh, they had people wearing like hazmat suits, carrying people around because they were scared Ebola was possible. In the modern world, this was happening. Years and years and years and years ago, Matt Groening said this is going to happen. The FIFA corruption scandal, 2014, they called it. 2015, it came all crashing down. Everybody knew they were getting their pockets greased, making decisions, sending a World Cup to a goddamn desert. Matt Groening said it's going to happen. It happened. Greece's debt default, 2012, they called it. 2015, it happened. So many countries out there, by the way.
They picked Greece?
The exact country to happen. Trump's presidency, 2000, they called it. 2016, it came to fruition. The Simpsons called this. President Trump out there, and everybody probably looked at, those Simpsons guys are so funny. Bang, 16 years later, it is about to happen. It goes down. Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show, 2012, they called it. 2017. I mean, I think we all knew that she was born this way. She would probably get the halftime show at some point, but to the details that they had. These are not coincidences. Coincidenci. I don't know how you pronounce it.
How the fuck do they know this stuff? It's got to be time travel.
Matt Groening is a time travel. I have so many fucking questions. Disney's takeover of Fox, 1998. They said it. 2017, it happens. The Shard in London, which is a building behind Big Ben, I guess. Is that right?
Apparently, that's what Google search said.
1995, 2009, it comes to fruition. Robot Librarians, 95, they called it. 2016, it happens. The censorship of Michelangelo's David, 1990, 2016, it happened. Three-Eyed Fish from the fucking nuclear waste place.
In Japan.
Three-Eyed Fish comes to fruition in 2001. Matt Groening did it in 1990. 9/11. 9/11. They called that happening. If you do recall, planes going into buildings, they said it in 1997, 2001, it happens. The Syrian uprising, everything that's going on in the Middle East has all been talked about on The Simpsons. And then he created another show called Futurama. That is huge. He created another show like, listen, here's me rubbing it in the face that's where I could go if I have to. I have so many questions for Matt Groening, and guess what, Matt Groening? The gig's up. We know. I'm all in on you, Matt. And I'm a fan, by the way, aren't we? We're big fans.
I'm a huge fan.
If you want to travel to future me or current me or past me and say what's up, I think we would all be appreciated.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back on this Overreaction Monday, January 25th, 2021. We are a sports talk show on Sirius XM, and Hour 3 begins right now. Joining us is a college football national champion and a Super Bowl champion, a man that was I think he's the all-time leading tackler for the Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, out of the Ohio State, AJ. A to the J. How's it going? Nice haircut, pal. You look good.
Hey, you look good too, man. I caught some of the Chris Carter interview. That was good.
Hey, what he said about Scotty Miller has obviously rippled throughout the internet a little bit, but that's very real in practice. If a Caucasian goes on a deep ball, on some people's heads, there is a massive reaction by everybody. I assume it was like that when CC was in the league. It is like that when I was in the league. And AJ, I would assume it was like that whenever you were in Green Bay. But boy, there's some people on the internet who are not happy about it. Not happy about it.
Well, if you remember going back, I think Jordy even mentioned something like that on this show. He said the DB coach at one point in Green Bay would tell the young guys, he would go in and be like, hey, I'm just telling you, don't sleep on Jordy. Like, get back off of him. Do not take him out of the line. Like, he's going to run by you. And Jordy said, like, that was a real thing.
Yeah, imagine the coach coming in. I know what you think, okay? I thought the same thing, too, as did every other DB that's ever been here. That particular white right there is very fast. Because if you think about it, and I'm not saying this is what Kevin King did or anything like that, and a lot of people tweeted that it wasn't only whites that were beating Kevin King last night, which is a very valid point. But if you think about it, Scotty probably looks slower on film than he does in real life. You hear people talk about that, like you can't recreate the speed in real life from what you see on film. I'd assume Scotty looks slow on film because he's a white guy. He is a white. So it's a wild scene, but that dude has been going. Your thoughts on yesterday's Packers-Bucks game? I mean, there was a couple situations there where everybody's asking questions about. Obviously, the 4th and goal, whenever you have the guy down 8 with about 2 minutes left. Then right before half, the entire situation. Just your thoughts as somebody who is, pretty well tied to the Packers organization and also the quarterback that spurred a conversation that I'm not sure he thought he was spurred. Maybe, I might be wrong from listening to the whole thing, but just your thoughts on the entire day yesterday as a Green Bay Packer fan.
Well, what a weird game from the start for Green Bay. Obviously, Tampa Bay comes out, they score on the first drive, which is that's what you need to do if you're playing the Packers. You need to get ahead and try to find a way to hold it, which they did. But when you look at it, think about it. Like the Bucs, they had, I think, almost 10 minutes less of time of possession. They lost the turnover battle. They threw 3 picks in a row, and they still find a way to win the game. Like, that's what, just from start to finish, just a weird game for Green Bay. They could have won it for sure, but it was just something was off.
Hey, let's throw another stat in there. Tampa Bay average drive start 37-yard line. Yeah. Average drive start for Green Bay 23-yard line. Now, that was this morning's stats that I did not do. Somebody else did, so I hope those are accurate. But it did feel like Tom Brady was 2-3 first downs away from points on a regular basis. And even when the turnovers happened, somehow in the places that they happened, there wasn't a short, it wasn't a short field. It just was a weird night. It was a very, very weird night. And I'll tell you, and you didn't answer it there because I asked you like 30 questions, so you try to answer as much as possible. But that 4th and goal, taking the ball out of your guys' hands. Now listen, Chris Carter alluded to the fact that LaFleur was acting like this was a regular season game. Like, hey, you got Mitchell Trubisky on the other side. Like, we'll kick the field goal, we'll get the points, we'll kick it off 3 and out, we'll get it back, we get a chance now to go down and win the game as opposed to tie the game or whatever. But you should, in my eyes, even if there was a thought about it, you call a timeout there. You bring your best fucking play to the table here. This is our entire season on the line here. You go for it. If you don't get it, by the way, guess what? Still down and need a touchdown, and the field position is still set up pretty good here. Let's say you score a touchdown and you don't score the 2-point. Okay, you're still in the exact same spot that you were in from kicking a field goal. You need a touchdown. It just, all of it seemed to be quite a, I don't know what that was.
What the hell was that?
Ric Flair.
A fumble of an opportunity there. 3 times in the last 115 situations like this has the team decided to kick a field goal. I don't know if any of those other times they had the MVP at quarterback. That just seems like a real, obviously the hindsight's 2020 and everything and all that shit. But man, that's a wild decision to make, AJ.
Well, it is, and I know there's a lot going on like between the coaches and players and everything, but if you know Aaron after the game, he said, like, if I didn't know we were going to kick it on 4th down, if I would have known that, maybe I would have called a little different play on 3rd down, because I think Aaron even said, like, Matt, let me kind of call that play. So it would have changed his mindset. I think he even said maybe would have drawn up some crossing routes or whatever. Maybe he would have taken off and ran if he would have known they were going for a field, or if he would have known it was going for a field goal, I guess. It just changed his mindset, I think. And I don't know how you communicate that in the headset. Maybe early on before that play, LaFleur tells him, hey, if we don't get it, I'm kicking a field goal. Like, do you want to put that in your quarterback's head? But he needs to know. It's like just a weird situation you have to find a way to work through.
Hey, 8 yards. We need 8 yards. Mm-hmm. All right? We need 8 yards, or we need a 3 and out against Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Yeah. I don't know how that. And by the way, everything in life is risk assessment.
Ooh,
okay? Everything in life is risk assessment. You know, you're always weighing the pros versus the cons. You're always weighing, the good outweighing the bad. In football, those situations have to happen very quickly. I don't know how the good in kicking the field goal outweighed the bads there. I still don't. And this is the gift of being able to look back on the whole situation. And maybe I have too much respect for Tom Brady and what he's been able to accomplish for the last 20 years or so. But that just seems like a mistake. And it's in the biggest moment, So it's like, it's tough because it was a hell of a year, hell of a run by that Packers team.
Absolutely. Like, that's what's tough to see the day after when it comes to a sudden halt like this. The season's over, bam. It's tough to see, like, okay, this was a heck of a year for him, but we know what the expectations are, especially with Aaron at the helm. But if they would have, let's say this would have worked, would people be calling LaFleur a genius?
Well, also, if it works, you're still giving the ball to Tom, who only has to go down there and kick a field goal. So the next question is, did they get down there too fast?
Yeah.
There's so many layers to it all, and you can only judge off of what did happen. But any of the other results happening, there would have been immediate criticism of, because it's the NFL and it's the NFC Championship game, and you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Speaking of, Aaron a lot better than I do. Aaron, after the game, obviously competitive. When I asked him this year why he loved football so much, he talked about his competitive drive like 3-4 times very early. And to be in the NFL, you have to be uber competitive. It's just what you have to do. And especially this season with how well he was feeling mentally, physically, and going. For it all to stop immediately, okay? Obviously a much different Aaron. And I've talked about how when we lost the Super Bowl, that locker room was the most miserable place I've ever been in my entire life. Just like everybody understanding how close we were to winning a Super Bowl, and instead it didn't happen, and we never got back from that moment. All the OGs knew that was a potential outcome there. It was so miserable. That locker room after that NFC Championship game, I would assume, was absolutely miserable. He goes in there, does that press conference, and he talks about futures being uncertain, including mine. And as soon as those words left his mouth, the internet, which had already started a little bit of a buzzstorm because the Jordan Love draft pick and the year that Aaron's having and everything like that. And I think here, we joked about it a lot. Ty was very pissed off anytime it was mentioned. Ty would always say, well, you wait until the season's over. As soon as the season's over, by the way, it started everywhere. How do you feel about the way Aaron's words have become an absolute firestorm almost everywhere this morning?
Well, it is funny, I guess, how the reaction that everybody has to it. I feel like if I would make a guess of what he was saying, he's thinking, hey, it's not exactly up to me. Like, I think he was saying, like, hey, I don't know what the team wants to do. I don't know what the front office wants to do. I don't know what the plan is moving forward. So he's like, I'm not sure what my future holds, even though I am under contract here. And I know people take it many different ways. Who knows? He kind of chuckled too when he even said myself included. So I don't know.
Oh, I didn't notice the chuckle there. I'm going to have to run it back like the Kansas City Chiefs. This show stinks, Steve. I was on Get Up this morning. Did you see me and Schefter yelling at Dan? Oh, you were FaceTiming me while I was doing that, actually.
That's right.
So you didn't even know I was on there? My phone was vibrating while I was yelling at Dan Orlovsky alongside Schefter. But just know, I was out there saying, Aaron can do whatever Aaron wants to do, dude. He is, by the way, in a position, and I think that's why the conversation's so intriguing. He could do whatever the hell he wanted to do. If he came out and said, there would be teams just ready, like, what do you need? What do you need, Green Bay? Let's make it happen. And that's why it's so intriguing. Ultimately, though, I don't think anything's going to happen.
How do you let the league, the MVP, get away? Like, how could you let him?
Well, Houston's trying their best.
Yeah.
And potential MVP, right? Hasn't won one yet. And then in Green Bay, how do you do it? Like, you move up in the draft. You tell your guy, excuse me, fucking pardon me. Let's go ahead and warm it up, bub, huh? Maybe go ahead and start thinking about that backup plan. Maybe you think that's how you do it. And then those seeds kind of get planted. And then the no other moves really make, that's how it gets planted.
See Brady leave and have success.
And you see Tom get an entire team built around him, basically. And, you see that type of stuff happen. And then you quickly realize, like, oh, they fucking let an MVP get away.
Huh.
Probably won't happen, though.
I don't think so.
That would be, the world would stop. The sports world would stop. The Green Bay Packers have traded NFL MVP quarterback Aaron Rodgers to the Indianapolis Colts today for 4 number 1 overalls, all the way up and including 2040 first-round draft pick.
Partial ownership as well.
Yeah, it would be insane. Matthew Stafford now definitely on the move. That came out this weekend that previously to MCDC even getting hired, the decision was made that they were going to part ways with Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz, maybe. We don't know. Jalen Hurts. Dak Prescott's going to be a free agent if he doesn't get franchise tagged again. I mean, there's going to be some shit popping off here in the offseason. Thank God, especially when you have to have a talk show every day during the offseason.
Mm-hmm. Well, when will all this stuff start happening? Like once the league year officially begins?
Well, allegedly, there's already been some people who have reached out to the Houston Texans to see what it would take if they were, and people within the Houston Texans organization have started contemplating what it would take to potentially move. Here's a graphic brought to us by Schefter. Adam Schefter. Some QBs whose futures are in question: Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Jimmy G, Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater, Mitchell Trubisky, Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzmagic, Alex Smith, Ben Roethlisberger. Now, you can take off half of that for, like just logical stuff, right, and things like that. But there is going to be a lot of movement. I mean, there's going to – Jimmy G, what if you don't think the San Francisco 49ers – 1 year removed from thinking about potentially bringing Tom Brady back home, don't see that there's potentially a little bit of something going on in Green Bay, and they're not giving a call to bring the 49ers fan back home?
Yeah.
Imagine him in that offense. What a wild time that would be. But imagine Matthew Stafford in the New Orleans Saints offense, or Shanahan's offense, or imagine Goff potentially on the move and Aaron Rodgers in the Rams offense, or Stafford in the. I mean, there is a lot of potential. There's a lot of shit that's going to pop off, AJ. Somebody's going to be left out, team and quarterback. But I feel like if you're a high-end quarterback right now, you feel very good about where you are in life. I mean, not that you ever shouldn't, but I mean, right now, it's a good time to be great at quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I think it's always a good time to be great at quarterback in the NFL. But
yeah, true.
If you are, what if you want to what if you're a middle of the road type QB though? It's not a great year because there's if you think, hey, I might be able to get a starting gig. Well, take a look at that list, man. There's a lot of really, really good quarterbacks.
Hey, let me tell you, pal, that rookie deal was fun, right? You want to become a veteran? Grab that clipboard. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Put the little earpiece in. Kind of do the things on in the practice. Need you to make every throw. Need you to do some homework assignments. And then if he goes down, guess what? You might get an opportunity. Go ahead and make the most of it. Teddy B went 5-0. He got $25 million. How about that? That's what you need to do, okay? That's what you need to do. Wild time to be alive. The fucking Chiefs, by the way, looked unbelievable. Man. They looked absolutely – they played their best football they've played in a long, long time. And it was just like, yep, we'll do it whenever we want to do it. Now's the time. See you later. Good run, Bills. Ariel Helwani. Now get the fuck out. Dude. That's pretty much what they did, AJ.
Yeah, they did. And I know they had some questionable field goals as well instead of going for touchdowns, the Bills.
Chris Carter said, when he said that they were acting like it was regular season, you do have to be more aggressive, I think, in the playoffs. Like, hey, we got to go win this thing, okay? We're not just going to be able to hang on. We got to go win this damn thing. Like, there was decisions made in this game. I mean,
jeez.
This was unbelievable to me. This was absolutely unbelievable. They wanted to get it from 17 to 15 for some reason, instead of making it to 16. And it's just 16 is two scores, obviously. 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions, 8 and 8, 16. Everybody in football knows that, okay, let's get it to 16. It's a 2-score game. Now it's going to be tough. Okay, we're going to have to make at least 4 plays, all right? Plus 2 onside kicks, so you're going to have to at least make 6 plays here. But we're still in the goddamn – for them to go for 2 instead of just kicking the extra point made no sense to me. Then I had these dumbasses on the internet last night. They were going to have to get 2 two-point conversions and an extra point anyways. They got it out of the way. It's like, okay, so you just want to fucking burn your chances of still being in the game when you don't have to? No, it just makes no sense at all. You put that alongside the 4th and goal thing, there's a lot of interesting decisions being made right now in the NFL. What the hell's going on, dude? But I guess if you're playing the Chiefs, like, you are potentially going to make bad decisions because they will expose you. Very quickly, they will expose you.
Hey, do we know what Warren Sharp has said about them not making it, not trying to take it to 16? Because I've read some stuff too that claim it was the proper move with analytic. Like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out why it was the proper move.
Well, everybody on the internet was telling me that they needed 2 two-point conversions and an extra point anyways. So might as well get it out of the way.
Excuse me?
All right, might as well keep yourself out of the game longer. All right, let's get us out of the game quicker, man. Let's do it. I didn't fully understand. But when you're playing the Chiefs, now granted, I was a part of a fake punt against the Patriots.
Oh, gorgeous play.
That was one of the worst plays of all time. Like when you're playing against the Chiefs, you have to play your absolute best game. Josh Allen would have had to play a perfect game yesterday. He would have had to play his best game. Stephon Diggs would have had to do the same. Cole Beasley would have had to do the same. I guess he played through a broken fibula this year.
Damn.
Jesus. Okay, Cole Beasley. It happened. You know when it happened? During the interview. Whenever he got up, they fucking hit him with that steel mill or whatever was happening on the other side after our interview. But they would have had to play their best game, I think. And they did not. And the Chiefs did play their best game they've had. Patrick Mahomes is all the way back, by the way. Travis Kelce seems to be unguardable. That team is awesome to watch whenever they're going.
And they were able to make the game look easy, and they muffed a punt and gave the ball to the Bills like on the 2.
Yeah. They were down 9-0. Just to see you later. No problem. What is it, the playoffs? Yeah. Does that matter? No. It's the Chiefs. Brett Favre says, what's that face for, AJ? As soon as I said Brett Favre says.
Jeez. I didn't make a face. I'm curious. I can't wait. I don't know what he said.
There's no way the Packers would do anything.
You know, that's coming from you.
Oh.
What is that? Wow. He's a Packers fan.
He is. Yes.
You're a Packers
What do you
fan.
do to you? Because, well, listen, I love Brett Favre. Okay.
No!
I do.
And also, by the way, this is post-NFC Championship loss here for Todd.
It is.
Still grieving.
It is. Fair. But, I mean, Favre fucking interjects himself at every corner when it comes to Rodgers and, you know, drama or whatever. It's like, listen, Brett, we don't need you fucking stirring the pot, all right? Just put the Wranglers on and go throw the football with Jerry Rice in your backyard, all right? Leave Aaron's name out of it, okay? Let him have some time, for Christ's sake.
Ty's saying we need a copper muzzle.
Yeah, exactly.
Copper fit muzzle.
Get him on.
Hey, I like
to defend Brett a little bit, Ty. Like they come to him, they ask him. Don't you think they? I think he even does a show on Sirius still. They come. They have. Obviously, they're going to ask him how do you feel about this situation?
And Brett was very nice to us too. Yeah. Brett was nothing but nice to us. I mean, I watched him hit a 7-iron, maybe 290 yards with his Popeye arms down there in the Bahamas. He bombed a ball. Was very nice to us and everything like that. Here's you.
I mean, he told us a story.
He did tell us a story.
I wasn't there for that.
You were.
I don't think I was.
Yes, you're blacked out.
I might have been blacked out. I might not remember, but I mean, I do remember thinking, you know what? Everyone's kind of just leaving Brett alone at this thing. I'm going to do the same thing. I wanted to go up and talk to him, tell him how much I loved him. I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to do it.
So instead you say, hey, Brett, don't need your ideas.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Exactly. It's quite a different way of going about it.
What are you going to do? Like I said, I mean, he's been saying this stuff all year, just adding fuel to the fire. We don't need it the day after
saying there
a
is no
backbreaking
fire.
loss.
He's saying there is no fire. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's what everyone says, though. Well, hey, Brett says it, so it must be true. I'm not so sure about that.
Jesus.
Still love you, Brett.
Guess what, though?
You sure?
The truth is, nobody knows anything but the people making the decisions.
Exactly.
So whoever the front office there.
Wow. You think it's just front office? You don't think Aaron knows? Yeah, no, Aaron. There's no way Aaron knows.
No, Aaron knows how he feels about the situation. He has no idea probably what they're thinking. I'm sure they're like the front office now. Now they go into like, self-scout mode. What are we going to do moving forward from here? So if there is something is going to happen, they're going to start talking about it.
Jordan Love didn't pan out. We need a new one.
Maybe ask Rodgers what he wants for one.
Yeah. Hey.
If you want to keep the guy, maybe do that.
Hey, hey, let's put our swords down, huh? Maybe offer a lifetime deal, $30 million a year, $5 million more than what Tom and Drew just said. Maybe $35 million because you know, just lifetime, whatever you need to do. Aaron.
Try to right a couple wrongs.
What free agent wide receiver would you like, Aaron?
Oh, yeah. Would you like us to potentially do that?
You want Aaron Jones back? Sure, pal.
Come on, pal.
MVP, stay on.
Now I will say, Aaron Jones. Yesterday, rough outing for the guy.
Yeah, he's probably not coming back.
Those are two really good shots at the ball, though. I mean, those are two really good tackles.
Right on the crown.
You got to give the Bucs defense a lot of credit, man. Did you see they tried to run a very similar play that Devontae beat, Jalen Ramsey in the little pick route? They ran it. He faked it open. He didn't come back for the motion. They tried to get him, but the Bucs had it, man. Like they had that and the Aaron Jones play to start the second half. I was watching it. I see him going across the field. I'm like, oh, okay, they dropped him. I thought he was going to drop him, be wide open, have a lot of area to run. Oh no, they got the old. What was it, the safety or corner came up and caused that?
Corner. Let's get to a break here on this Overreaction Monday, January 25th, 2021. Years past zero. Nailed it. Thank you, Jake.
Ooh.
Okay.
We came in a little bit on a fart side.
Yeah.
Hey, you got your Oculus this weekend?
I do. I've messed around a little bit. Haven't played much.
Oh,
so many holes in his house.
You've got in there. Where have you gone? Have you gone into Thrill of the Fight yet?
Not that. I did the Creed game.
Oh, that game stinks.
Can't do it. Okay, good, because I'm trying to fast forward the stupid animations and videos they want to show between everything I do.
Yeah, they made me get on a goddamn treadmill. Like, yo, I don't need to be on treadmill, okay? I've been training in another organization. Get me out of here. You need to get Thrill of the Fight. Thrill of the Fight. It's awesome.
Download it right now.
Well, maybe not. His internet probably won't be able to handle it.
true.
Probably have to wait until after.
Yeah. You were able to play? By the way?
Have you noticed the last week? Have we had many glitches or issues?
Did you turn it up a little bit like the Chiefs in the playoffs?
No, I just think whatever these outside influences were trying to slow my stream down, I think they backed off.
Oh, they went after Dana in the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They took their targets off of AJ, sights off of AJ.
Give him a break.
Trying to rate the ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Let's get to a break. We're back on the other side. Overreactions from Twitter and the phones. This is Overreaction Monday, January 25th.
He's saying don't go off the top, it's too shallow.
All you're going to hear this stadium do is they put the big paw up, they start shaking it, they go, whoa. Hey, what things are going, look,
Yeah, he loves the defensive side of the ball. He said yesterday to me that this is a blue-collar team. They win it on special teams. They have 5 block kicks this season. The defensive side of the ball, Lynch leads the Big 12 in sacks. But also on the offensive side, Denzel Mims is an absolute animal. He is a weapon. Charlie Brewer, the quarterback from Lake Travis. His dad was a quarterback in Texas. Yeah. His grandpa was a quarterback in Texas. And the people here in Waco just so happen to get a chance to see Charlie Brewer on a daily basis. Hey. Yeah, Boomer here is going to mean a little bit different than what it means on the internet currently. And hopefully here in Baylor, they hope they're not hearing a lot of Boomer sooner. Everybody wants to be a punter, including quarterbacks. If I was a quarterback, I'd want to be a punter as well. 0 yards on that punt. That's an embarrassing situation. The Dak dance that gets on national television has led to a lot of losses, but you got to respect the hips being able to. What sign am I going to make for college game day? Well, I want to make something creative. I want to make something fun. No, to hell with it. I don't like OU. It's so thick. Look how thick that thing is. That's years and years of patience. You're headed right for the boat. Right now? Okay, let's do it. We are out here on the Brazos River, which you can take a boat to the game. One of the only stadiums in the country that you can do that. It's beautiful out here. A lot of people would say, this is the last time I'm going to be on game day. The last time I allegedly did what I'm about to do, I ended up in a jail cell. Let's go! The poop kicker's getting way down here. It's a lot higher than I thought.
You look like Ric Flair.
That was a sellout, by the way. That was beautiful.
Do we have any other shirts? Yeah, hold on.
You need to go get changed before you get sick.
Great work, Russia.
I'm actually not that cold. Hey, I went for it. My chest hurts. That's full commitment, by the way.
Sound right.
I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
This song feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It does.
Just jelly?
Somebody just tweeted. Gumpy found this on the internet. Gumpy, who'd you get this from? The
Spotrac.
Spotrac. A lot of contract stuff. I believe that's sport and tract for contracts. Spotrac. I do think so.
Okay.
SPOTRAC. I believe we have all wondered what it meant and what it was for a long time. The vitamins I'm currently on put that together. Maybe that's right. Maybe that's wrong.
Good strand.
But they are who we go to for contract information. It seems like they know what's going on. If Rodgers is traded, once again, we do not believe that this is going to happen.
No.
We don't think it's happening. But for the sake of the fodder of it potentially happening, if Rodgers is traded, the numbers above pretty much stay the same with the condition of the $6.8 million roster bonus. If Rodgers demands a trade, he'll want it done immediately, meaning the Packers will be stuck with the $31.5 million dead cap charge, which is a huge problem. So they can work with the new team and Rodgers to make this easier on them, maybe, but probably not. I'd again recommend the Packers convert the $6.8 million roster bonus into an immediate signing bonus, spread that over the next 2 seasons, and wait to process this trade until June 2nd. This means a $16 million dead cap charge in 2021 and a $21.7 million cap hit in 2022. It doesn't seem like this trade's happening, by the way. Just the more and more details you look into it. Shout out to Spotrac there. Ty Schmidt had a doctor's appointment. T's and P's.
Tear his heart.
Broken.
Yeah.
They're going in there with stitches. Going in there with a quilt.
Oh, yeah.
They're knitting. That's what they're doing to get his heart back together.
Yeah.
It's like Ted.
Damn shame.
Like Ted. Gumpy will join us at the table. Let's overreact, shall we? AJ, there was some overreaction on Twitter. I'd like you to maybe get your thoughts on this whole thing.
Let's do it. I want to see. I saw it trending. I think it was #1, right?
I don't know if it got to #1. I mean, I saw it at 3. Took a large Grumpy, came back, wasn't trending anymore. I was like, we lost it a little bit. But it's time for my favorite segment of the week.
I don't want to overreact, but...
This is my favorite segment because it's the only one we really do. I give out a bird call to people to overreact about what happened in the NFL. This week, it was obviously awesome. Foxy, let's roll with this thing. This is from Michael Boyd. Hashtag Pat, I don't want to overreact, but at Ariel Helwani has now become the ratings killer, and Tone Diggs has to watch Lev Bell and AB play in the Super Bowl while his team has all become TikTok stars.
Suck it, Tone. Shout out Michael Boyd for being original and creating this on his own. I do not have to watch either of them play because neither of them will. So,
Antonio Brown will play. I do assume you will have to watch him, even though last night he was not in and Lev Bell did not play.
Freeloader.
Hey, was Lev Bell active?
I don't know.
No,
wasn't even talked about.
No, he was out in his knee.
Wasn't even talked about it. 31 Williams is a hell of a player.
So he played with Allaire at LSU, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Williams did. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they played together.
Oh, good for them. Because I did see CEH pumped up for him on the sideline.
They say on a broadcast.
Yeah, you got to like that. All right, let's get to the next one, Foxy. It's from Corey Frank at Frizzle7. FrizzL7. Hashtag Pat, I don't want to overreact, but Josh Allen's entire career will be losing to Patty Mahomes and will never make the Super Bowl. That's going to be a tough road, AJ Hawk, for the Buffalo Bills and the Bills Mafia.
Yeah, it is. Is it almost like being Phil Mickelson and then Tiger Woods comes along?
Yeah, Peyton, too, by the way. You could say Peyton with Tom and that New England team. I mean, at some point, Powerade's going to happen. Gatorade's going to go. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. But maybe Josh Allen can flip the script. He took a massive jump from last year to this year. Next year, will they take that big step for Bills Mafia? They will love it. Let's go to the next one. This is from Tyler Werner. See that?
Oh.
See what I did?
Yeah.
Because your W's are V's.
Wow.
Yeah. 9 is what some people would say. But I say, yeah. At Sailor Tide 9, hashtag Pat, I don't overreact, but it looked to me like Mike McCarthy was coaching the Packers yesterday.
Whoa. Big Mike.
AJ, you take that as a shot at LaFleur or what?
I take that as a shot at Big Mike.
Yeah, I think so too. Also, quite a shot at LaFleur, you know. Quite a shot at LaFleur to say, hey, what are we doing here? So, yeah, I guess it is ultimately one massive punch to the face of Mike McCarthy.
Ricochet shots.
Yeah.
Matt McCarthy is, I think, what he was alluding to.
Well, I don't know if he was talking about any of it. Let's get to the next one, please. Andy Hunsucker, he's a PhD. This guy's a doctor.
Whoa.
At Andy J Retro. Hashtag Pat, I don't overreact, but it's interesting that there wasn't a single pass interference call until the exact moment Tom Brady needed one to seal the game, AJ. A lot of that conversation because the Aaron Rodgers interception, there was a clear little grab and pull pick. Then you get it on that play, which, by the way, everybody on the internet has that picture. Diggs tweeted it out of the hold, but it's like, are we comparing that to what's normally called or what was called throughout the entire evening? I think that's why everybody's kind of losing their shit about it, AJ.
Yeah, it's the timing of the call. And then once they play it back and you see him grabbing, like, unfortunately, he got his undershirt, and so it stretched out and it was long. Even though it didn't really restrict him, it still got him. So I guess that's why the flag came in so late. I think that's another big issue people have with it.
Yeah, the ref saw it, looked at it, the play happened, and then he threw the flag. He had already looked away from what happened.
For sure, okay? And that's how the game ends, and it's Tom Brady winning, and people are going to question it. We have a leak in our roof. Jesus! Water is just dumped down on the light right above the television.
On Tito's head. He had no idea.
No, it didn't even happen. It just kind of came down. And it is coming down outside right now.
I'm blinded by the light. I can't see it.
I apologize. That's exactly where it hit, by the way. It was that whole light there. Jeez Louise.
Wow. We should get out of here.
We potentially are. City Council Pat. Anyways, let's get to the next one. Jesus.
I want to overreact. But.
Graham K. Alexander at GK Alexander 6. Never taking Pat's boosts again, and Tom Brady will have another ring in 14 days. I will say that the boosts were very chilly. I mean, maybe the coldest weekend I've had with the boosts. Betting-wise, didn't do too bad. But the boost is become a problem. And obviously, the Chiefs did their part of the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
The Packers did not. And the Red Wings lost to a winless Blackhawks team on Friday night for the Open of Michigan in FanDuel. And Conor McGregor got knocked out in the second round as opposed to getting a knockout in the first 2 rounds, which I boosted. So rough weekend for me gambling, but I do believe we could say I'm going to get the next one. I'm going to get the next one. Ain't that right?
Your boosts were very, very hot when you were doing single game, and you were like, this is getting boring. It's way too easy. People aren't making enough money off of it. So you started doing like 8-team teasers, 5-team parlays. Like, let's try to win the lottery.
Oh, I'm gonna parlay every game that's happening this weekend. That's what I said.
Shouldn't be held against
It's not your fault.
I shouldn't be doing that. I was looking out for people to get that boost even bigger.
Correct.
But in turn, I did lose a lot of money. So I want to let you know, even though the Super Bowl is next, and I will not be going back to the basics. I will tell you, next season, I will go back to the basics. Well, with the Super Bowl, it's only one game. Of course, I'm going to be boosting heads or tails.
Yes.
Of course, I'm going to be boosting the national anthem over-under because we do real research around here.
Right.
Diggs will watch every national anthem that person singing national anthem has ever sung with a goddamn stopwatch, and we will hit that over-under. We will guess the Gatorade properly. We will boost that. We will get the Chiefs to win probably
Of course.
as a boost. We will do all these things, but next year only one bet each week is what I need to stick with.
I will say this year's is going to be tough because it's a duet. So
It's going to be longer.
Double the time.
It's going to be longer because it's like The Voice when they battle.
Yes. My turn.
And then this one. It's happened.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? That's what humans do, especially on the biggest stage on earth. They're going to carry some. That's over for sure. But the sportsbooks are doing the same thing we just did.
Yeah.
They've watched The Voice as well. We're going to have to do real math there, Diggs, whenever we boost the hell out of that. Speaking of, we will be live for the 2 hours leading up to kickoff, national anthem, coin toss, Super Bowl Sunday in our FanDuel countdown to kickoff celebration on the big game Sunday. We will have special guests. We will have great conversation. This is the first time AJ is learning of this right now. We secured AJ.
Am I supposed to take part in this?
Yeah. That was the announcement, was the invitation to you. It just got locked in before we went live on the show today. I feel like a 2-week build-up is the right thing to be doing because we want to make this celebration big, AJ. We want balloons, festive balloons. Yeah. We want big guests, big conversations, big predictions, gambling odds, this and that. We are going to count down to kick off in a celebratory fashion of the 2020 NFL season coming to a full conclusion.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Super show.
Super show.
Super show.
That's right. Super show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a super show on the big game Sunday. AJ, will you be there?
2 hours before kickoff, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 4:30-ish to 6:30-ish is where we'll be live. We'll also be live on Sirius XM.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, so 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm in. Let's do it.
Let's go, AJ.
Let's go, AJ.
I didn't even have to check his calendar.
Yeah.
Let's fly together.
2 weeks from now, in the modern world, do people schedule 2 weeks out things? No way. No way.
2 hours.
Maybe not here, but yeah.
In the real world, Dix, what do you stop fucking like?
What are you laughing about? I'm so cool.
Cool. 2 weeks, a long time. A lot of things can change, but we are planning as of right now, this moment, 2 hour lead into the kickoff of the big game on Sunday.
Hey, who was the duet? Who's singing?
It is Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan.
You know what? Eric Church, very humble, right? Has those glasses on.
That's true.
Who knows? Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't.
I don't got to do a brave.
Yeah, but
maybe he won't battle it out.
I've never seen. I've seen a little bit of The Voice. I've never seen what you displayed earlier. Do they do that? They stand next to each other and just scream.
It's a bat-arounds, dude. Fucking learn television.
Wake up.
You watch 0 television programs, but you know The Voice in depth for some reason.
Listen, I also know The Big Show too. You're the Go Big Show. I know that show too. I want to let you know I'm all in on that. I watched it.
Watched a lot.
The Go Big Show?
Yeah,
I did. I know.
Have you ever watched anything that wasn't like a 30-second clip on your phone?
Hey, you're watching that spy doc.
Listen, this weekend I had a big watch weekend. I did the Tiger doc on HBO. Worth it, by the way.
Okay.
Not a tiger burial. Everybody's it's still just raining into this room right now. We have big problems we're going to have to deal with as soon as the show ends, by the way. But the tiger thing, everybody's talking about tigers. People didn't like it or whatever, and everybody thought it was going to be a burial. I thought it was going to be a burial. Nick watched it. Nick, not a big tiger guy. Nick told me it actually gave me a lot more respect for Tiger after watching it. I think it was, I don't know why Tigers people didn't want it because it did cover but boy, learning about one of the greatest of all time in everything and anything was really, really cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
I loved it. It showed that his relationship with his dad, like the whole, how he grows up. I think they didn't like that. It's like when his dad's buddy came on and said he's not going to like this because they talked about his dad, taking people into an RV outside the practice range, things like that.
What happened?
Cocktails, baby.
He was allegedly, according to this documentary, Mr. Woods, Earl.
Slapping cheeks.
All around town.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
All around town.
Yeah.
Can I clear up this slanderous statement that I'm not a big Tiger guy? I love Tiger.
Now we're just lying on air.
Don't think that.
I would never lie. You know that.
It seems like
Champion of truth.
Oh, for truth?
Yes. Gumpy's the one who got the mix-up.
Oh.
So now it's implanted in there. Now, see, this is just spinning, snowballing out of proportion.
I can't argue
He's a
with
champion
your truth,
of truth.
dude.
But anyways, I also watched a spy special on Netflix. I learned that the Russians have just been. You ever see the movie Inside Man? Denzel Washington.
Classic.
Okay, so you know when they send the pizzas in.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just like a microphone on there or whatever. And then on the message out from the thing. I didn't know that that's like actually happening on a very regular basis. This spy thing, I guess people are just, but we planted, I guess, a microphone in a bullet to shoot it to a place we couldn't get to implant in the wall so we could listen to what was being talked about. The Russians got this guy's goddamn dress shoe, undid his heel, put a microphone in his heel, put it back in there, and they were recording this guy for like a decade or something like that. The one ambassador to Moscow got this big-ass wooden, like, bald eagle thing. Okay, like a gift.
Damn.
And he put it right behind his fucking desk, this thing.
Of course.
Had great finish on it.
Yeah.
Before it got to the son of a bitch's office, the Russians cut it right in half, put a microphone. That thing was basically like one of them earphone things.
Trojan horse.
Modern day Trojan horse.
A decade. They were sitting across the street just listening to everything they were doing. This is happening right now.
KGB,
Cold
man.
War was quite a time for innovation.
You get some vitamins and start watching that. I'll tell you what, it gets. I was looking around the house.
They talking about sleeper cells?
What's that?
Sleeper cells.
That's why if you ever watch The Americans, you'll
learn everything.
Yes, they dive into the old KGB in the United States of America. It is quite a watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't watch that.
Nastrovia.
I don't want to know. I go home and come here.
Yeah, assuming the Chinese are probably doing that as well.
And then I watched something else too that was pretty good. Anyways, let's get back to the overreactions. Back to the segment. Hunter Andrews at KeepDChange18. Hashtag Pat, I don't overreact, but NFL officiating is fucking terrible. Very interesting. I think that goes back to the pass interference call we were alluding to before the FanDuel countdown to kickoff celebration announcement, which is happening 2 hours before Super Bowl on youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show, and also SiriusXM. Big guest.
Huge.
Big guest that we've already locked in for sure. For sure. But that fucking call, it's an interesting call to end the game. NFC Championship, all eyes on it. I mean, that was very interesting. And I would never claim to be a ref or understand the situation they're in, but boy, that seemed to be a bit aggressive there.
And it seemed like it took 3 or 4 seconds after the play for the flag to come in from 25 yards back. Like, that's another thing I think people are really upset about.
Hey, they were letting the men play out there.
It was cold. He probably had mittens on. It's hard to get the flag and throw it.
True, especially with how tight it is packed in there. Let's get to another one, Fox 8.
Last one.
This is from Converix Gaming. Converix. That water's just dripping on that thing. Hashtag Pat, I don't overreact, but Stephon Diggs is going to be on a mission next season and get the Bills to the promised land. This photo says it all. AJ, how'd you feel about Stephon Diggs staying out there and watching the celebration and kind of embrace the whole thing? Drink it down, soak it in.
I don't know. I feel like his location is kind of weird. You could have sat on the bench. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I feel like I've lost a couple NFC Championship games. It sucks. It's awful. But I don't know if watching it would give me any more motivation or make me any more upset. I'm sure you would be more upset, but yeah, I don't know. Everyone's motivated differently, man. I guess Diggs, and we see this happen a lot with different people.
He just wanted to embrace it, see what he was missing out on. I wouldn't do it, obviously. I appreciate that he did it, though. Whatever the self-motivation that you need to get to the next thing. My favorite moment after the games was when Tom Brady called his kid down.
Oh.
Come on down here, Jack. All right? Give me a hug. While he's whispering in his ear, hey, listen to that. You hear that? That's all the souls in Green Bay leaving their bodies. Like, I wish he would have been saying that to his kid. This is what it's like to go into somebody else's house and just stomp all over their couches. You just watched your dad take the happiness from an entire fan base. Come on down here, drink it down, soak it in. I wish that was obviously that's not what happened, okay? Love you, happy you're here to see this, that whole thing. But I wish Tom would have had that teaching moment that maybe me as a father would have had.
I saw your tweet. I mean, it made sense. Like, what if Tom did say something kind of like what you
Oh, it'd be awesome. That would be so. He's obviously mic'd up, so we will hear that at some point. I would assume Tom, he would have to okay NFL Films to release it and all that stuff. But that is going to be a great piece, that whole thing. I would assume Tom's kid saw him throw a fade to Drew Brees' kid last week, and there was potentially a little conversation that happened.
On the opposite end, that Packers security guard should have been like, and Tom, no, fuck you.
How about no?
Talk to him after. All right, buddy?
You want to see your kid lose a game? Let's get some phone calls here before we wrap up the day. Overreaction Monday after Championship Sunday has been fantastic. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to demand a trade.
Whoa.
I mean, that was the overreactions today. That was what was going on today.
Rodgers to the Colts.
It was unbelievable. He's coming to the Colts.
Yeah.
Sean in Texas, what are your thoughts?
What's going on, Mr. Pat? How you doing?
Not too shabby, Sean. What do you want to talk about?
Mitch. God damn it, John from Texas, not
John, Mitt.
Come on,
Mitt. I mean, that is close, though. I mean, John and Sean is close.
Yeah,
And
I'm not that upset about it. But, I called today, Mr. Pass, to say that LaFleur's a stooge.
Mm-hmm.
When you have 12 in the backfield and you don't have too many yards to go with the game on the line, you put the ball in his hands. I think that Aaron needs to go somewhere where he will be trusted in those situations. I think Aaron needs to come on and put on the black and gold.
Oh, geez. Wow. John in Texas, big Steelers fan. I forgot about that. Imagine him in Pittsburgh. The people of Pittsburgh would love Aaron Rodgers.
They would. Would Aaron love to be there? Like, who's going to be there to throw to next year?
Juju.
Juju's not, is he?
Juju, dude.
I mean, Claypool and Deontay. And
Fucking Derek Watt?
more than what the...
J.J. Watt, probably?
No.
He can throw. J.J. does play tight end and fullback.
A lot of touchdowns.
And also Derek Watt.
Yeah, exactly.
2 Watts to throw to. I mean, or maybe 3 if you even want to put TJ back there.
Oh, he might be a cap category.
Who?
Derek Watt.
Oh, you think TJ Watt's brother's getting cut? You are out of your mind.
Oh, he played like 2 plays this year. On
Big plays, though.
Yeah,
You say he brought the hammer.
That tackle.
How dare you talk it down?
How am I going to get shit for talking shit on a Watt? It's
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, but Diggs, it feels like at this point, though, that's really what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's business, baby.
You usually bury yourself.
Yeah,
here,
let's go to Eric in Virginia. Eric, what's going on, pal?
Hey, what's going on, Pat? How you and the boys doing?
Hey, not too shabby, Eric. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, man, I just wanted to talk about Aaron Rodgers here at the end of the game. You know, of course, you put it in the MVP's hands at the last 8 to go. I feel like LaFleur had zero confidence in him because he went 3 and out 2 times. What are your thoughts?
Well, thank you, Eric, for calling that. It did seem like LaFleur had a little bit of doubt in this guy, didn't he? Seemed like Eric LaFleur didn't understand that the MVP was playing quarterback. And that's what some people would take away from that whole thing. And if I was, Aaron, you could see how he could potentially think that this morning. Like, how did they not want me to have the rock in the moment? Maybe I didn't go ahead and shoo the field goal team off, because if that doesn't work, by the way, I'm going to be hated forever. But thinking about it now, how did they not just give me the ball with 8 yards to go in 2 minutes, the whole thing? So I could see how Aaron could think that, but I would assume there's some analytics department that said that was the right decision if you thought your D could get a stop.
I started thinking about head coaches in the NFL and offensive coordinators watching that happen. Like, wait, you got Aaron and you're going to kick the field goal? They're like, you see who I've been trying to score points for weeks and weeks now? Like, I'm not going to have a job anymore. If I had Aaron, I would never take the ball out of his hands. Like, I'm sure there were some upset coaches.
We are dying to get to the 8-yard line. Okay? Yeah. We are dying to get there, let alone with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, you're going to assume that there's going to be some conversation about LaFleur making that decision.
Best red zone offense in football all year long.
Yeah, they had plays, by the way.
Gold zone died. Gold member died.
I love gold. I mean, that was their whole thing. That was their whole thing. Your whole thing was what the season was on the line with your thing. Mace, go kick.
Too much
But you don't get it, and then you stuff them on the 8-yard line. You get the ball back at the 50 with a chance to tie it again.
Yeah, and if you score and you miss the 2-point conversion, you're in the same exact position that you would have been. I mean, it's just... Let's go to Ben in Michigan. Ben, what's going on, pal?
Hey, Pat and the boys. How's it going?
Hey, just hanging out. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, so I want to talk about the UFC fight on Saturday and how ESPN Plus trashed. I need some confirmation. Do you think AJ had too many hawks in the nest, and that's why ESPN Plus crashed?
Potentially. Potentially. It is wild that happened, because it is only with you that it happens. I mean, granted, Zoom is a cool app, a cool platform that has connected a lot of people in a time where we needed it. And Francesa told us to invest in it a year before the quarantine happened and all that. But the quality is terrible if you're looking to do a show, because the sound is nowhere near what the face is, because they're not trying to be high quality. They're just trying to put people in rooms together. Hey, let's just see some people here. Let's go ahead and make something happen. So the quality is terrible. So normally you do a FaceTime, it's, 10 to 20 times better for all parties involved. But every time we FaceTime with AJ, it does seem like there's a chance it's going to go ahead and go down. And I think every time that happens, I go, is that AJ's fault? Is it our fault? If it's our fault, we look like a bad show. Like, that can't happen, all right? We're an internet show. That can't happen. ESPN Plus not being able to be able to hold that. That's a bad look for the ESPN. Like, I think that's a bad look for ESPN. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they did get hacked by the hackers that they called fuckers in the press conference, or if they just weren't able to contain everybody that came on there. But it's a bad look, AJ.
It was a Conor McGregor fight. I want to see the numbers when it comes out, but I highly doubt that there was double the viewership that they thought was going to happen. They had to know and plan for this. So I think it could be could be some of these guys. Maybe Dana stirred up a few hackers that were upset. He's coming after us. And so they all just tried to slow them down.
Hey, listen, if you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you to run a business is tough.
Nope.
But you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down no more. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite. ESPN Plus needs to do this.
Seriously.
Stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you the information you need when you need it. Ditch the spreadsheets and all the old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place instantaneously. Whether you're doing $1 million or hundreds of millions in revenue, save time and money with NetSuite. Join the over 22,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Pat. That's netsuite.com/PAT to schedule your free product tour right now. netsuite.com/Pat. Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed will be next on SiriusXM. AJ, do you have anything to say to the serious folks before we bounce out of here?
No, I'm good.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, what he said there was tomorrow our show is going to be paramount. It's going to be monumental. It'll be nowhere near as the next show, Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed, but we're coming tomorrow with some flame through the microphone. Have a great Monday. We'll see you mañana. This is SiriusXM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Wow. Pretty good. Pretty good.
With the ad.
Yeah, with the ad.
Wow.
NetSuite, by the way. You guys should be trying it out.
Gotta.
Love it.
ESPN Plus can't crash like that, though.
No, they got hacked.
I think they got hacked, too.
They got hacked for sure. Apparently, the guy who they were watching, too, he put on, his hacker website, whatever, a link to go and pay for it at ESPN instead of putting up his illegal link. Yeah.
Oh, so it's very nice of him.
They got
Very
got.
nice.
They
Yeah.
got. You do not bite off more than you can chew when it comes to the hacking world. It will bite you in the ass.
Hey, they are smart.
Yeah,
Very
they
smart.
know.
And they know.
There's no firewall that they can't get
They
by.
just go like this.
Spike them.
And your life's done.
Yep.
Now we watch. The internet just starts going, oh, they can't handle the fight. Everything's down. Can't see it. How much was it? Like $49.99? How many
I
people?
thought it was like 80.
$79.99. It's whatever it is, $79. So everybody's paying it. We want a refund. Now they have to give a refund and everything like that. And the hackers just sit
Can
back
you not
like,
buy it off your phone or your
Job
the
well
TV?
No, I tried.
Yeah, you have to
to
be
use
a
the app?
subscriber. Yeah.
Because I can't. I would like to be able to just buy it.
Yeah, just press it.
Easy.
It would be very nice. But this is the future, obviously. This is the way everything's going.
No, the future you'll be able to do it right off your app on your Apple TV or whatever.
That's what they're
That's what you're
trying
supposed
to
to
do.
do. Yeah.
You can't do it though. You have to go on to you have to go through your computer or your phone. Like you can't just go all of a sudden one click buy it. Basically,
You got to remember now, if we're going to get deep into platform conversation here, and they just had a massive deal announced. The WWE network changed the game of everything, right? Went to a monthly subscription plan years and years before everybody else did it. Everybody else actually told him that he's potentially going to run his business into the ground because he's charging people for content when there's so much free content or whatever. Instead, they get 2 million subscribers. It's $5 a month or whatever. We'll give everything away. It's just, he made so much money. And now Vince McMahon is kind of the model. Yeah, fire was huge right there, by the way. You almost started a fire over there. We need one over here to potentially weld some pipe back together to get the drips done from our goddamn roof or whatever. It is coming down in here. But now the motto is get everybody on subscribed, get everybody into your thing. It's just who can handle that traffic, who can make it a worthy destination when you get there. I'd like to stay there. The ESPN Plus, they're going to continue to build that, obviously, but them crashing on a Conor McGregor night is a massive ordeal. That'd be like Quibi finally getting something to get people to go over to, and then it just not being able to operate.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean?
Quibi, yeah. Quibi's still thriving, right?
I don't even know if they're surviving anymore, but boy, they were fucking arrogant. I'll tell you that. We got it figured out, bruh. $40 million here, $40 million there. They'll come watch our bullshit.
Of course.
Of course. fucking $1 billion down the drain or whatever. ESPN Plus, Stephen A's World is awesome. Getting to watch that is good.
Peyton's Place is on there.
Peyton's Place is fucking unbelievable. It is very good. But those big events are how you get people in the door. That's how you get people in the door. And then when you get them in there, you got to say, hey, stick around. Go ahead and watch this now. Hey, I know it's 3 a.m. and the fight just ended, but hey, how about fucking little Dave Letterman and Peyton Manning right here? How about this? You know what I mean? That's the whole purpose of the whole thing.
Didn't what happened? WWE sold to Peacock. Is that right?
Yeah, exclusive streaming rights in the United States. I don't know how many years or whatever to Peacock. So now Peacock has just the entire library of WWE available on their app, and I'd assume the subscribers go with it of WWE. What's that?
Quibi was dissolved on December 1st.
Oh no!
Another thing died.
Yeah. They didn't use NetSuite.
I was hoping to never have to do this again.
You did it, 2020.
Here we are.
We did not make it out of 2020.
Rest in peace, Quibi, dude.
Good run.
It's been
tired of announcing.
Yeah,
things dying there.
It is sad.
NBC Sports Network too.
Oh, why'd you bring that up?
Dead.
So gone.
Rest in peace, NBC Sports Network.
Good run.
You know what they say?
Where is hockey going to be? Does Nick know? Like, where will hockey be aired?
That's what killed it.
Is that what it was?
Who cares, AJ? No one's going to watch it anyway. USA Network, most likely, until the rights are up after the season. Then
They're going to USA Network? With Monday Night Raw and the Grizzlies? And straight up Steve Austin?
Well, it's part of the NBC umbrella, so NBC still has the rights till the end of the season.
Oh,
so
put it on USA.
If it's on USA, I'll watch.
I will watch on USA.
USA.
Straight up Steve Austin, Monday Night Raw, the Grizzlies. Fucking lock it in, bow. Now the NHL's there. Is USA Network all of a sudden the best network out?
Wow. Some ask, was it already?
Well,
Burn Notice.
What did you like? Burn Notice on
Suits.
it?
White collar.
Guino's Flyers rolling right into an episode of White Collar. Sign me up.
Yeah.
See you there.
Bro, I cannot believe that you didn't say leading into the Pens Flyers game. Grizzlies.
Oh, man. To start it off.
The boys leading in there. Yeah.
Even
Is it still a show?
Bro, they have spin-offs. What are you talking about?
What, the kids?
Yeah.
Respect it, Tony.
We love them.
Yeah. Didn't that? I didn't know they're on USA Network. Didn't that dad get in a weird argument with his daughter or some weird fight where he was going to put out a sex tape of her or something?
What? Slander.
Dude, what
That's not the Chrisley family I know.
What the
That is not the Chrisley family I know.
Have someone look at it's either the Chrisleys or another family reality
AJ
show
is
type thing.
correct.
What's going on?
No way. That's not the Chrisley family I know.
Todd Chrisley, just, I'm going to blackmail my daughter.
No, we can't slander that man like this.
Abuse. It's to get people in. That's a great way to capture
Foxy and I saw that whole family last national championship.
Great people.
Good, very nice to us. Didn't seem like there was a potential blackmail sex tape thing.
There was an extortion case.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Somebody.
See Nanny?
Of course, AJ, by the way, that's how you know them. Of course. It's the only thing
I can see you and Big Todd, hitting it off and being good buds.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Me too, by the way.
Absolutely.
Me too. Jesus Christ. Hammer Don is on in 28 minutes right here, youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. If we're not flooded by that point. We have a real water problem
coming down.
Yeah. It is. It's not just one drop. It is a pretty steady piss.
Waterfall.
What are you going to do, though? For real, I would love to know what's going to, is Zeke going to get on a ladder, go up there and put some duct tape up?
No, we're putting a bucket on.
No, you definitely.
Collect the water.
I don't know. Somebody's going to have to get up there. But to get up there, we need a goddamn lift. I don't even know how you get up there.
Nah, we'll just scale these
We
pipes.
got a scissor lift in here.
These pipes cannot hold you.
What if we just all put one
should do a
person on our
pyramid.
shoulders?
Yeah, we should pyramid it.
And then flex seal it.
I've been playing Assassin's Creed. I'll jump up there. I can climb the wall.
You won't. I bet you can't.
I've stopped some water in my days.
Yeah.
Seems like it's a non-issue.
Seems like the flood is not going to happen.
Fine.
So since that is the case, Hammer Don's in 27 minutes. We'll be back tomorrow. The likes never got to 10,000, so we will not be giving away $10,000. I announced it early. Wildfield Yates was giving a rather lengthy answer.
Yeah.
He was giving a rather lengthy answer, which I did appreciate, but I knew what is coming out of his mouth. I go into the comments and I go, hey, we got 40-some thousand people. If this thing gets to 10,000 likes, I'll give $10,000 away.
Whoa.
Then it kind of got washed in the comments. So I reiterated, Wildfield was still giving his answer.
Said it twice.
Hey, 10 of them things coming. Didn't make it.
That's on them.
Shame.
6,000 likes. I tried my best.
That's on them.
I absolutely tried my best. Now, is the show over yet? 62, 64.
Oh, it's building.
We got to get out of here. Not going to make it. We'll be back tomorrow.
64.
Hey, what do we think? What do you think chances are tomorrow of Aaron coming on? You know him much better than I do. Much, much better than I do.
Yeah, I have no idea, honestly.
Me neither.
What a tease.
Good job, Edge.
It's a good tease.
Me neither.
If he does come on, I think he'll love it and he'll talk for an hour. Like I think he'll really enjoy it. I just don't know what the schedule's like, what they're doing, if he's in town, if he's leaving. I don't know what's happening there.
I don't know either. I have no idea. I'm excited to find out. I'm sure everybody else is as well. It's at 7,500. We have to end this quickly. So we will find out tonight at some point or tomorrow morning whether or not anything will pop off tomorrow. If not, completely understandable. If so, let's have a combo tomorrow. Let's have a combo tomorrow. I'm pumped about it. Very thankful for this season and for all of you for watching. Only at 7,900. That's a shame.
Too bad.
We'll potentially give away money to Mignana. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. That's the show. Cheers.